This is Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily with Andrew Hustler Paterson and Michael Remis.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Friday. Welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. We have a busy one getting ready for the Moose and the Grand Rapids Griffins tomorrow. We got playoff hockey in Winnipeg still. 2 p.m. Saturday, 2 p.m. Sunday. If you do want to pick up tickets, there is a link in the description of today's video for a discounted rate. Would love to see some of you out there. I know the WST team will be there. Congrats to our winners earlier. And if you haven't already, we do have some more tickets to give away. You can also get in on the contest. Go right now, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest, and we'll make a few people's day at the end of the program with some tickets for the Moose on either Saturday or Sunday. Big day in the chat room. I see it's T-Will's birthday. Happy birthday to the big guy. Maybe we'll see him tonight because this evening, it is May 1st. Happy May to all of you. I'm glad that April's in the rear view. Tonight at the A, the one and only Tristan Rivers with his band playing a GNR cover band and an AC/DC cover band. So I think a lot of people from the chat, WST will be out there. All are invited. So if you're looking for a good time tonight, you can find us out at the A. I think they go on around 10 p.m. But we've got lots to talk about. The Oilers are done. The Dallas Stars are done. Minnesota and the Ducks with big wins last night. We're going to talk about that and more, as well as about his new book with Chris Pronger, who will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. We'll get in. Well, first of all, we'll do a health check on our good friend Ken Wiebe, and then talk to him about the playoffs, the Jets off season. Brandon Rewucki's going to pop by. I'm sure Brandon's in a good mood after what the Flyers were able to do in game number 6. And you get ready for 3 games, game 6s tonight. We'll see whether we've got game 7s on Sunday. Unfortunately, there will be no game 7s on Saturday, which makes the game tomorrow afternoon at Candlelight Center, I think, even more must-see for hockey fans because there's no NHL tomorrow either. So the boys will be on a little bit later on. David Gustafsson, the Gus Bus himself, will join us on the program. And we'll also get ready for the Kentucky Derby with our pal Kirt Contois from Assiniboia Downs. Speaking of Assiniboia Downs, great to have them on board again for the summer. Also want to welcome back the Winnipeg Goldeyes. Cannot wait for Goldeyes season. And folks, the home opener is May 19th. They are already over 5,000 tickets for that game. They'll be doing the jersey giveaway like they did last year for the first 5,000 fans. So I would suggest that you get your tickets at goldeyes.com now and make sure to get there early to get your hands on. Man, the home opener was amazing last year. Had a great chat with Andrew Collier earlier this week, the GM of the Goldeyes. They are excited. Big improvements to the ballpark this year with the new lighting, and obviously, hopefully the squad will be good too. So welcome to the Goldeyes back. And we also want to welcome aboard Travel Manitoba. We're going to be doing some really fun segments that might stray away from our normal what's going on with the Jets, what's going on with the Bombers. Michael Rewucki, a great friend of the program, is going to be coming on. We'll have guys from Hunt and Fish Manitoba throughout the summer. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff with them on social between Travel Manitoba and the WST team. So I wanted to welcome them aboard as well. It is great to have them with us. Also want to thank just the sponsors that make the show happen each and every day throughout the year. Of course, the gang at Princess Auto, Chud's Power Sports, Clean Line Plumbing, Heating, and Electrical, the Tri-Hospital Lottery. Get those tickets now before the early bird deadline at trihospitaldream.com. Manitoba Battery, Aikens Lake, Breezy Bend, Royal Sports, big tent sale this weekend, the first of the year at Royal. No better deals than you'll find at the Royal Sports tent sale. That's on tomorrow and Sunday. Boston Pizza, Little Brown Jug, St. Vital Dental Center, and Rolly's Transfer. Very special Rolly's promo today, courtesy of a move of one of our members of WST. And, of course, our pal Dr. Terry and the gang over at the St. Vital Dental Center will also get to a Why Not question of the day for not Autocorp, but Waverly and McGillivray. All right, let's get the show on the road. Welcome to everybody in chat. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And shout out to all you podcast listeners making us a part of your day. Remo, what's up? How you doing?
You know, I'm sitting here this morning after the Oilers got eliminated from the playoffs, and we're coming up on a year, Monday, I think, of the Manitoba Miracle. How much I'm enjoying these playoffs with the Jets not in them. I thought, maybe you wouldn't be able to watch. You'd be too bummed, but I think we've really put the Jets' disappointing season in the rearview mirror, and we can just sit back and enjoy the games. Don't have to be so emotionally invested in the outcome. You don't have those wild emotional swings, like your heart's not racing anytime, the puck is in your own end. You can just sit back and be entertained. And I think the first round has been awesome, and we're really seeing a changing of the guard in the NHL with, the veteran teams, Tampa on the ropes, Edmonton eliminated, and the upstart teams like Anaheim really saying, hey, we're here. We've had an 8-year rebuild. We've arrived. And even Dallas, a team that's been in the West Final the last 2 years, out in the first round. It shows you how hard it is to stay on top in the NHL.
Oh.
And, interesting the paths that some of these teams have taken to get where they are.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously, listen, it sucks not to be playing, and everybody would prefer the Jets to be in the playoffs. But with the season that they had, especially kind of bottoming out in January, as fun as it was to see them sort of work their way back into it for a little bit in that final month of the season, I think most of us were sort of, had come to grips with the reality that this was not the year for the Winnipeg Jets. And obviously that's moved our conversations into a number of different ways. I mean, you're not wrong. It is a little bit freeing just to be sitting back and making a couple bets at Coolbet and just watching the games for what they are. But don't think that we're still not envious of Habs fans who'll be packing the Bell Center tonight with a chance to move on to the second round, or the folks that were in, as much as I hate to say it, the Grand Casino Arena, formerly the XL Energy Center in the Twin Cities, is the Wild. Won their first series since 2015 in the playoffs, or the Honda Center. So it's been great. Like last year, I think I had a hard time watching the third round of the playoffs.
It was tough.
After losing to Dallas with the incredible first round and the Manitoba Miracle and the excitement, and then obviously we were down in Dallas for the games where the Jets were playing. It was a really tough, and it was an emotional way that the season ended, obviously with Mark Scheifele's father passing and all of that. It took a little bit of time to get back into it in time for the final. This is a very different year, but I hope that it is a year that is not repeated next year. But as we've seen right now in the playoffs, Remo, nothing is guaranteed. You got to earn every win in the regular season to get to the playoffs. You got to learn every win in the postseason. And, a team like the Edmonton Oilers, who came in clearly with Stanley Cup or bust aspirations, find themselves making tea times after the first round, after 2 straight trips to the Cup final. And I don't know, I just spent an hour on EST, as I always do, in the lock shop before Winnipeg Sports Talk starts. And, I didn't want to pile on too much today because I know my friends in Edmonton are bent and, not in great spirits right now with what happened. But I mean, for all the talk about what's happened with the Winnipeg Jets and their situation with the age of their team and those players, the Edmonton Oilers are on the verge of just wasting the prime of the greatest player of this generation, and arguably right there with the greatest of all time in Connor McDavid. And I know that he wasn't at 100%. I don't think Draisaitl was either. But, man, they didn't have much else stepping up. I thought Podkolzin was really good in that series. Kapanen was pretty good. And ironically, those are the two guys they got for almost nothing. Podkolzin was a 4th-round pick from Vancouver. Kapanen was off waivers. And then you've got guys like Trent Frederick that they gave an 8-year contract to at almost $4 million that weren't even in the lineup. The Jari trade was such a disaster. Like, I think we'll look back at that trade as one of the worst in the NHL in the last decade or two. Like, he's on the books now for another 2 years at over $5 million. They don't have the confidence to play him. Man, there's a lot of work to be done in a lot of spots. But I don't know, man. I think, we've talked a lot about the league getting younger and getting faster. We saw that in a big-time way in that Anaheim-Edmonton series. The Ducks were the better team last night and throughout the series. They deserve to be playing the winner of Vegas and Utah.
Yeah, Edmonton has made poor move after poor move going back years. When Peter Chiarelli was GM, you had losing Holloway and Broberg. I mean, how much would it help for them to have some young guys pushing? But they didn't have that, and you mentioned the moves that they made. Trent Frederick signed his contract for more years, 8, than he had points this season, 7. Shout out to, I think it was Rob Williams on X who made that one. But, I mean, the Skinner for Jar, we talked about it at the time. We said, is this move an upgrade? And Skinner would have been gone, and the answer was no. It was a lateral move, if that. And Skinner his contract would have expired after the season. They could have got someone new, but now they're stuck with Jari. Oh, and they gave away a second. And Brett Kulak, who's playing a pretty important role right now for Colorado after Pittsburgh flipped him. So I don't know how they move forward with the same management, but I also don't know how they're going to add pieces to get back to the Stanley Cup final. Yeah, you have McDavid and Draisaitl. It just seemed like, after losing in the Cup final 2 years in a row, it was really hard for them to get up for this season. Was it this year where Draisaitl was like, hey, this is, the exhibition. We just played in Game 7. I think they just, couldn't get there for the intensity. And McDavid said after the game, we were an average team with high expectations, really putting them on blast. So I'm curious what happens next for them. And McDavid did sign that 2-year team-friendly deal. I do wonder, if he was presented with that same offer today, would he sign it today?
Huh.
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what was missing too from those guys, Draisaitl, but especially McDavid. Like, if you remember last year, especially, but the last 2 years when they got to the final, when things weren't going well, in the final against Florida, there was a lot of emotion. There was Connor was yelling at the team. I mean, there was a real sense of desperation and urgency from their leadership group. That wasn't there at all. And I'm not sure whether those guys were just hurt and they felt that they couldn't say those sort of things to their teammates if they weren't able to carry their usual load. But in some ways, it looked like they kind of knew that they weren't going to win the Cup, and they just weren't able to get anywhere close to the level that they've been. Let me just say, because I know a lot of the talk, certainly north of the border, is about the Oilers losing, but the Ducks winning should be talked about. And I have to tell you, Remis, we don't see a lot of the Ducks. They're never on TV. When the team's playing them on the road, it's a 9:30 game. You get one home game a year, and that was obviously relatively recent. This Jackson Lacombe is right now one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League, full stop. He's making $900 and some thousand this year. We all remember last year when they signed him to the 8x9 extension. We were like, what, Jackson Lacombe? Excuse me? That looks like a brilliant bit of business from Pat Verbeek right now. And I was just saying to Dusty, how many defensemen right now would you take based on age, contract, all of that? How many guys would you take over Jackson Lacombe? It is a short list in the NHL. The job that he did on McDavid was something else, playing like 27 minutes a night. He's tough. He's fast. He had 58 points this year. Man, we spent so much time talking about Leo Carlson and Cutter Gauthier and all the talented young players that they've drafted at the top. A second rounder in Jackson Lacombe might end up being the jewel of the entire thing. And I think Coach Q feels like he's got his Duncan Keith for the next decade.
It is amazing to see the parallels with this team and the Chicago Blackhawks when they were up and coming and won their first cup. You have the sniper, Cutter Gauthier. Is that your, well, maybe not quite the same guy as Patrick Kane, but your offensive winger, Leo Carlson. The two-way center. Is he your Jonathan Taves? You got Jackson Lacombe. You've got some nice veterans there. Mikhail Granlund, Alex Killorn. This team's been building for a while. 8 years. You've had high pick after high pick. It's working out really well for them. So credit to the Ducks. And you remember, makes you remember how electric that building can be. It was packed yesterday. Nice to see Teemu Selanne looking as good as ever in the orange jacket, Huss. People are fired up, and you do like seeing the Ducks have success after just putting a dreadful product out there, seasons prior.
As I said, we'll get to more of this with the guys when they join us, Ken and Brandon, a little bit later on. I begrudgingly have to tip my cap to the Minnesota Wild, Rewucki. They move on. They get it done. Tight game, 2-2, and then they got the goal and a couple empty netters, and they have got the monkey off their back moving forward. And as I told you before the playoffs started, I hate to admit it, but the Minnesota Wild are the real deal, and I know they got to go up against the NHL's number one team, the Colorado Avalanche. She'll be nice and rested after a 4-game sweep of the LA Kings. But I'm telling you right now, the Minnesota Wild are live to win that series. And I'll tell you what, if they can get through Colorado, there is no reason why they might not be playing for the Stanley Cup in a month.
Full credit to Bill Guerin for going out and pushing his chips all in and trading for Quinn Hughes. They needed a number one defenseman who could be offensive, who could run the power play. And there's no one better right now than Quinn Hughes, top three. And look, they had to pay a lot. They paid multiple former first-round picks, but they needed to get over this hump. Hadn't won a series since 2015. They were going to go up against Dallas. You knew that, and they got the X factor. And there he was yesterday, scoring the game winner. Well, I don't know if that was intentional bank or not off a defenseman's skate, but this guy is a difference maker. And I think, the Wild are as good as any team right now, and really at 5-on-5 dominated Dallas, who struggled. And Dallas did get a power play goal yesterday, but it wasn't enough for them. I'll see what happens next for them with Jason Robertson, his contract coming up. So this was supposed to be Dallas's year to get back after losing the last 2 years in the West Final, but they fired Peter DeBoer last year. I'm curious what's next for them. They had a number. What were you gonna say? I mean, the Rupe Hintz injury, I think, really, really hurt them.
100%. And listen, I don't worry about Dallas like I worry about like Edmonton or Winnipeg as well. I mean, they have just been so good at drafting. And if they do trade Jason Robertson, and that is something that they might do, and they're going to be getting 45 goals off the books. You got a Maverick Bork that's moving up that'll be ready for more prime time. Depending on what comes back, I mean, you may have more picks to continue to roll this thing forward. But you get Hintz back, and I think that series at least goes to 7. So the Dallas Stars aren't going anywhere, which unfortunately makes the challenge of the Central Division that much more imposing. The birthday boy has jumped into the chat. T. Will. The Jets' disappointing season is behind us. Let the Jets' disappointing offseason begin. Hashtag birthday chat. Nice to see you're in such good spirits for your birthday, T. Will. And I did see a super chat from our guy T. Kona Pauly. Yo, T. Kona back in the house. After a week of cell issues, great Bauer interview as always. Go Moose. And man, can this Bomber season get going. And then a final blast. Oil and Leafs suck. And there, that's just a classic T. Kona Pauly. Pauly, see if you can get the passport out and leave Transcona and come out to St. James tonight to the A. But behave yourself. I know we had this conversation last Friday. We'll see you there tonight. Of course, David Gustafsson is going to join us a little later on. But Moose Grand Rapids get going tomorrow. And we do have some news. Garrett Brown, who signed with the club late in the year, has been with the team with Elias Salmonson out for the summer after surgery, 5 to 6 months. Garrett Brown's going to get his first pro game tomorrow afternoon, it looks like. Shout out to Dave Manuka of Illegal Curve for that information. So we'll talk about that as well coming up. But Chris Pronger is going to join us in a few minutes. Before we do that, let me remind you, folks, to get your tickets right now for the 2026 Tri-Hospital Dream Lottery in support of the Health Sciences Center, the St. Boniface Hospital, and the HSC Children's Hospital. It is the biggest grand prize ever. One of 5 dream home packages worth $1.7 million or $1.35 million tax-free. But it gets even better. Get your tickets now to be eligible for all of the bonuses and all of the early bird prizes. 43 early winners. More than $400,000 in bonus and early bird prizes, including cars, trucks, vacations, and $40,000 cash. All in all, there are more prizes and more cash than ever. 1,550 prizes to be won, worth over $2.3 million. So go right now to tryhospitaldream.com and get your tickets. Don't forget the 50-50 and the extra cash plus. And then wait for your name to be called for that grand prize and all of the amazing early bird prizes, spring and summer bonuses, and become an instant millionaire. Tryhospitaldream.com. You can also pick up tickets at Red River Co-op locations and over at London Drugs. Got to shout out our friends at Clean Line, plumbing, heating, and electrical, the residential and commercial plumbing experts and more. The most trusted group of plumbers with over 40 years of fast responses, lasting results, and 24/7 emergency services across all of Winnipeg. You don't want to have to call them, but when you do, know that Clean Line has your back, just like Adam Lowry does for the Jets. 24/7 emergency services. Mark the number down, 204-500-2001. And you can find out more on all their plumbing, heating, and electrical services online at cleanline.ca. We're getting ready to turn the page from the winter into summer, and that means getting your boat ready, your RV, your ATV, your bike. All of those things need batteries, and that's where our friends at Manitoba Battery come in for you. The best in service and in price, guaranteed at Manitoba Battery, allowing you to shop local, save big money over the big box stores, and get exactly what you need for the best prices in town. Manitoba Battery is located the original store on Logan Avenue. They've also got the new one on the south side on Dovercourt Drive. Pop in there or order online today at manitobabattery.com. They'll deliver those batteries to you. My pals at Aikens Lake picked up a ton of batteries for the upcoming summer from Manitoba Battery and sent me a text going, man, cannot believe the great price that Donnie and the gang gave us. And the service was even better. They delivered them all to us. So shout out to our friends at Manitoba Battery. Hit them up for all your battery needs. Now get this today. There was a move in the Rabchak family. And Connor's been busy today helping out with moving. And the guys at Rowley's have been helping him out big time. Check out the photo. The WST truck showed up and is making the move for the Rabchak gang. Remo, if you want to throw that one up. Of course, Rolly's a great partner and sponsor of ours, and keep your eyes out for the truck when it's out there. I think we've got the picture.
Yeah, I thought we were going to the ad first. Let me just pull up the picture. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. We got the, if you haven't seen this before, you will see it out on the streets of Winnipeg. And if you do see it, definitely take a photo and do it. Well, I'll tell you what, we won't worry about the photo, Remo. Why don't you grab, instead of doing our regular Rollies promo, before we welcome in Chris Pronger, Connor, being the content machine that he is, did his own Rollies plug today from the WST truck while he was doing the move. Here it is.
Do you have a move coming up? Lean on our friends and longtime sponsors over at Rollies Transfer. They've been serving Winnipeggers as the most trusted name in moving services here in Winnipeg for over 60 years, almost into their 7th decade. To get in touch, head to Rollies.com, and in the top right corner, you can request an estimate. Use the promo code WST for a great discount on moving services and moving supplies, and they can get you locked in for the white glove treatment that Rollies is famous for. And you might be thinking, I do have a move coming up. Connor, this is great news, but why are you telling me this in the side of a truck? Well, isn't that a fantastic question? Let me step out of the vehicle and show you in all of its glory the Winnipeg Sports Talk vehicle. Now, if you have a move coming up this summer, just let Rollies know when you're moving, where you're moving, and what needs to be moved. And not only can they give you the white glove treatment that Rollies is famous for, but they can move you in style in the Winnipeg Sports Talk truck. So lean on our friends, Rollies Transfer, Rollies.com for more information.
Wow, what a work by the Phenom. Great stuff. Shout out to our friends at Rollies, and great stuff with Connor in the WST truck today. All right, we will talk more Jets off season with Wiebe. I know Rewucki's going to want to talk about the Flyers moving on to the second round, but right now it is a real pleasure to welcome in longtime NHL star and the author of Earned, The True Cost of Greatness, from one of hockey's fiercest competitors. Let's welcome in Chris Pronger back to Winnipeg Sports Talk. Chris, what's up? Great to have you back on the show.
Not much. Thanks for having me.
There's lots to get to right now. Obviously, I want to get to the book that is out now that people can check out. But I know you've been paying close attention to the playoffs. We just spent the first 15 minutes or so discussing the demise of the Edmonton Oilers. I mean, this team, back-to-back Western Conference champions, two of the best players in the world. What do you make of a first-round exit to the young upstart Ducks, another one of your former teams?
One of my many teams. You know what? I heard one of I don't know who it was. Somebody yesterday after the loss. If they're going to lose, now's the time. Time off, heal. They've had a long stretch of playoff runs. Four Nations, Olympics, on and on and on for their top guys. And, injury riddled this year, banged up in the playoffs. It can take a toll. And so if they have any hopes of coming back next year, not only better, but at that next level, the recovery process that this long layoff will have for them. If they have a chance, it's going to be that, and that these top guys come back. There's no events next year. You got the normal season, no compressed schedule, nothing really of any magnitude for Connor McDavid or Bouchard or Draisaitl, whomever. So in that regard, I think, while it sucks to lose, this may actually help them in the long run.
I guess the big question is that, does their management have the chops to be able to make the changes to this roster to make them more competitive? I mean, it's hard to argue that everything they did this year put them any closer to it. I mean, I would argue that Jari trade put them 2 steps back. He's on the books for another 2 years at 5.3, while Stewie Skins is going to be a free agent. I mean, in the Trent Frederick deal, they gave him 8 years. He was scratched for the last 2 games. I mean, that's there's a lot of pressure on Stan Bowman, and probably more than anybody in the league, considering the sand going down the hourglass on that team-friendly 2-year extension that McDavid gave the Oilers.
Yes. Yeah, that's I think that's the more cutting approach is the hourglass for McDavid. It is at no point have they been able to address the goaltending to a level of degree that gives anybody any semblance of comfort. And to your point, 2 years left on Connor McDavid, of which you have to think one of them would be to play and one would be, all right, if you're going to get anything for me, you're going to have to move me now. He's not going to be a deadline deal. He's not going to be one of those guys. A player of that magnitude making that much money, in lieu of the team-friendly deal, some team is going to have to take on that number. It's going to be a summertime deal, a draft deal. And so, that I think it's the hourglass is not 2 years, it's 1 year. It's next year. What moves can they make to solidify their goalies situation, to solidify their defense, who struggled at times, and they've got a multitude of players back there that they need to have conversations with. And then up front, again, secondary scoring. If it's not Draisaitl and McDavid and Hyman, who's scoring for them? And how do they get more guys involved? How do they get secondary scoring, tertiary scoring, all the rest of that? How do they get, when you look at, the team they just played, the Anaheim Ducks, they had 4 lines that were contributing on the offensive end, all series long. And the 4th line sometimes is matched up against McDavid. So it gave the other lines that much more freedom to kind of wheel and deal. A third line of Paley and Cutter Gauthier, I think ate up the Edmonton Oilers. And the Karlsson line, I think, did a number on them too. And so when you look at that, the totality of the series, it certainly doesn't, a quick snapshot of the series, not even the season, the series, the speed and pace of which the Anaheim Ducks played at, the Oilers could not keep up.
I have to ask you on the Ducks side of things. We know Leo Carlsson. He was a top pick. There was all the Cutter Gauthier business, the trade coming over. He had 41 goals. We knew that this team had some really elite young talent. I don't think many people see a lot of Ducks games. They're not on national TV here in Canada. Your team will play them. That might change.
I played there. I know nobody watches, especially not on the East Coast. That's why we call it the East Coast bias.
Which is definitely real when it comes to awards and whatnot. I think that's part of the reason why so many people, if you paid attention to this series, you were going, wait a second, Jackson Lacombe isn't just a talented young player. Like, I made the argument earlier today on another show I was on, Chris, that based on age and contract, there is not very many defensemen people would take over Jackson Lacombe right now in the National Hockey League. I mean, he's playing 27 minutes a night. He's scoring. He's dominating and making life so hard for guys like McDavid on the other side. Yeah. I mean, you've obviously been paying attention to the Ducks through this series and this season. Like, it's great to have that talent, but it seems like Hughes kind of got his Duncan Keith right now to go along with the Taves and Kane type players as part of this young core. From a guy that's played so much defense, how good is this guy?
Yeah, he's an elite defender. And I think that, first and foremost, is what the Ducks needed, an elite defender. The way he was able to, he's a phenomenal skater. So when you're matched up against Connor McDavid, let's say, you're not worried. He's not worried about him blowing by him. He's an elite level skater himself. So in that perspective, he's got a good stick. He's a big body, strong skater. So all the intangibles that you need to shut down a player of Connor McDavid's skill, you're able to. And then to your point, you add in the transition game, ability to skate the puck out of trouble, great vision, sees the ice very well, makes a really good first pass, uses that mobility and skating ability to get up into the ice, to present secondary layer, third layer. And then, PP1 on the for their power play QBs, their power play, kills penalties. Like he's, when people always hear me talk about when you hear what a true number one defenseman is, that's him. He's the way you describe his play is the way I would describe a number one defenseman. He plays in all situations at a high level. He may not be the best QB on the PP, but he is very good and not only plays the QB position on their PP, but he runs it very efficiently and very well.
He wasn't even making $1 million this year, and I think there was a lot of jaws dropped around the league last year when they signed him to that 8-year extension at $9 million. He's going to be a bargain on day one of that contract.
Yes.
So great work by Pat Verbeek. Listen, just before we get to the book, tonight we got Game 6, Tampa and Montreal. This has been such an amazing series. Just wanted to get your thoughts on, the Lightning on the road with all the experience against the young upstart Habs that have, I think, really showed people that they've arrived so far in this series.
Yeah. In my bracket, I picked Tampa in 7. And for a couple of different reasons, and I think those couple reasons were wrong. And Montreal is showing me, and frankly, Tampa is showing me. They don't have as we just talked about, they don't have the secondary scoring. They're not getting contributions from up and down their lineup from a production standpoint, and Montreal is. And Montreal certainly is not backing down from the physical play. And when you look at the body of work in the first 5 games, I would argue Montreal's been more dominant, more physical, the faster of the two teams, played with the lead more, I would argue. And you could say they're getting better goaltending. Vasilevsky has not been the Vezina quality goaltender that he was in the regular season and in years past. And I know when you look at his stats, the last number of years in the playoffs, he has not been very good. He's let in a number of goals he should have stopped at his caliber and his level of goaltender. But to move it back to Montreal, to see the belief they have in one another, the togetherness, all that they've gone through over the last few seasons as they built with this young group with some of these veteran guys in the mix. And now those players are developing into stars and key important players on their roster. They've certainly quieted a lot of critics. I wouldn't call myself a critic. I just didn't pick them. I would be hard pressed if Tampa is able to win today. I think Montreal comes shot out of a shotgun or a cannon, so to speak. And right from the jump, they jump all over them tonight.
Yeah, they're going to have 22,000 behind them as well. That environment is going to be nuts. Chris Pronger's with us. New book. It's called Earned: The True Cost of Greatness, from one of hockey's fiercest competitors. Chris, right off the bat, what did you mean by the title Earned?
Well, I think, when I think about my career, every step, every moment, every opportunity was earned. And, going and playing junior, I had to earn the opportunity and earn my spot. I had to earn my spot in Hartford. I had to earn the respect of my teammates. I had to earn the respect of the coaching staff. And I had to go earn my status within the game. And you just keep going all the way down that line. At every step and every twist and turn, I had to either prove the critics wrong. I had to, bet on myself, as they talk about in the book a lot. I had to take ownership and accountability, but I had to earn that. And so, as we kicked around a bunch of different names for the book, that kept coming back is that, as I looked at not only my career, but my life, every step I had to earn my place in life.
We here in Winnipeg, we've got it's been a very disappointing season after what the team did last year. The team is a little older, and we've looked for younger players to get opportunities, And then, you hope that you can kind of fill that and have that next generation coming up. And it's led to a bunch of interesting conversations about, all these kids coming in right now that are high picks. They're all so talented. Do you just put them right in because they're good and they'll learn their way? The pros and cons of kind of earning it, spending time in the American Hockey League, being that level, forcing them to put you in, as opposed to, hey, this guy's really good, why aren't you putting that in? I mean, you said in the book, you learned early on that talent alone wasn't enough. Just if you could just speak to the challenges for younger players and organizations as to when is the right time to bring young players in and give them the opportunity to run with it.
Yeah, it's not cut and dry or that simple. Oh, he's a first overall pick, he's ready. It's a case by case basis. Some people need to develop physically, some need to develop mentally, maturity wise. Some need, just time to continue the development process and to continue to mature as a player. And there is no right or wrong answer on any one of those fronts. And we always say that the player is going to let you know by their play and by their ability and how they show up in camp and how they perform in preseason, how they perform early in the season. And, I think when you're looking at young players, some stand out and they're like, okay, they're ready for top 6 minutes. Other times they're like, no, we need to protect them. We need bottom 6 minutes. And, case in point, Getzlaf and Perry in Anaheim, their first year pro, they played in the minors and then they got a taste up. They played on the fourth line. And then their second year, my first year in Anaheim, we win the cup. They vaulted from the fourth line to the second line. And, we had a great 1-2 punch with the, Kunitz, McDonald, Solane. Then we had Penner, Getzlaf, Perry as our second line, but they earned their look in the show, so to speak. And then they earned every step of the way. They learned how to be pros. They learned how to prepare properly. They learned what it was going to take to continue to level up in practice and all the rest of that. And so there's ways to go about it, and having an understanding of the people, what motivates them, what pushes them, what drives them to be better, to be the best. And, that's going to vary with each person. And I think it really depends on the type of team you have too. To bring in a young player, you got to have good veterans around. You got to have people around that can protect them, both on and off the ice. And, that's very important too. We'll go back to Edmonton back in the, what is it? 07 to 17-ish, pre-McDavid era. Every time they had a first overall pick, they just threw them right in the lineup. And regardless of whether they were ready, whether, who they were going to play them with, there was no plan. There was no development plan, no structure, no understanding as to how are we going to develop the player, and then how are we going to get them to the top of their ceiling to be the best player they can be for whichever organization they're playing for. And so that you have to map all that out too and have an understanding. And sometimes, to what I just said, the player will tell you, all right, the player's ahead of the curve or the player's below the curve and we need to slow down. Maybe they need more time in the minors. Maybe they need to play lesser minutes. Maybe all the rest of that thing. And ultimately, their play will decide a lot of these things.
Chris Pronger's with us. The new book is earned. You got a core formula in it, and it's standards plus adversity plus ownership equals success. For someone that was such a highly touted prospect, went at the top of the draft, how did the standards change from young Chris Pronger to Stanley Cup champion Chris Pronger later on?
Well, young Chris Pronger didn't have any standards. So there's that thing. I just love to play the game. It's funny. I just love to play the game. I knew how to play the game. I love to play the game. I was a rink rat. I just immersed myself in it every day, but I had no real structure parameters set around day-to-day basis. What are my non-negotiables? And once I set those up, I needed to be the hardest worker in the room. And the biggest change and the thing that I think made, while being the hardest worker in the room, allowed my talent to take hold, I had a victimhood mentality. It was everybody else's fault. It was the fans who were booing me. It was my contract. It was my draft selection number. It was my teammate pinching on, make it a 3-on-1. It was this, it was that. And until I took ownership of my career, until I took ownership and accountability for my actions and how I played, and stopped, blaming others and started kind of looking within, that's when things kind of really turned around for me. Built a much stronger mindset. All of the booing that I endured early on in my career at home, and all of the question marks and all the scrutiny and all the rest of that, really helped shape my character and provided me with the grit and resilience that I was going to need later on in my career, fighting through injuries and trades and, questions with regard to all that. And, that really, fortified my mind and allowed me to really understand what I needed to do on a day-to-day basis to be the best I could possibly be.
We saw Rick Bowness come in a few years ago here in Winnipeg and really immediately lay the hammer down, and with the clear focus that he was going to change the culture. And we heard him say it at the end of the season in Columbus too.
Yes.
There's a great bit of PR, and immediately got that extension, and now it's the law of bones there. But before we go, I'm interested in someone with your experience to speak to what accountability looks like within an NHL team. And just on standards, can you look at teams right now in the NHL and kind of determine their level of internal standards as to what drives them as a group?
You can see how they all hold each other accountable. The ownership that they take, the pride that they take in not only their performance, but their teammates' performance. And you're allowed to have difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations. And to me, that's what you can see these teams, how close they become is from that ability to have those conversations. They can be uncomfortable at times, but that's what the great teams are able to kind of evolve from and push one another and, bet on themselves constantly in how they're showing up every day and preparing for, what they're going to need to do on a day-to-day basis to be successful.
Chris, listen, this has been so much fun having you back on the program. Really appreciate the time. Gang, the book is called Earned, The True Cost of Greatness, from one of hockey's fiercest competitors. There is so much to get into after such a career, and obviously what you're doing afterwards as well. Real lucky to have you on. Best of luck with the book. Cannot wait to read it. Have a great one and enjoy the rest of the playoffs, Chris. And hopefully it goes straight to the top of the bestseller list.
We're hoping. Get on out there and read that thing.
Have a great one, Chris. Let's do this again sometime. Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right, there's Chris Pronger. Grab the book, man. That's some great stuff from a guy that knows more about winning in the National Hockey League and standards than just about anybody you could have on the program. Great stuff. We're going to have our pal Ken Wiebe jump on in just a minute. Do want to thank our friends at Princess Auto for their support of WST. Of course, Princess Auto is synonymous with Winnipeg, founded and headquartered right here in the Peg, and now coast to coast serving Canadians with the best deals on the most unique assortment of tools and equipment around. Everything you need to complete the projects on your list, or as we get into spring, start something new, is waiting for you at Princess Auto. You can pop by and see them on Panet Road, out on Portage Avenue West, and out in Brandon as well. And you can always shop online 24/7, 365 at princessauto.com. And we're counting down the days to get back to Princess Auto Stadium, of course, for Blue Bomber season coming up. Also, it is Friday. Speaking of spring coming in, Derminator and the gang out of Chud's Power Sports are ready for spring. When we did the show for the Jetstown Takeover out in Gimli, they were just turning things around, moving the snow machines out and bringing in the bikes, the ATVs, some of the coolest things I've ever seen, not to mention boats and RVs and more. We have the best time of year coming up ahead of us in Manitoba. Make the most of your spring and your summer and get down to Chud's Power Sports in Gimli at the corner of Highway 8 and 231. Best staff, best service, amazing deals. And you can find out more on that right now at chudspowersports.com. Chud's Power Sports, great partners of ours here at WST and the ones that are going to make every moment of your summer that much better. Pop by and see them. Hey, as we get looking ahead to summer, there are some things. You got spring cleaning, you do a few things before the summer. You know what else you need to do? Make sure you get to the dentist. I just got a note from the friendly people over at St. Vital Dental Center that I'm a little overdue for a cleaning, so I'll be popping in to see Dr. Terry. If you're looking for an amazing dental clinic that has been serving generations of Manitobans, trusted like no other, St. Vital Dental is the spot. And of course, they've got a beautiful new facility at 167 St. Anne's Road with state-of-the-art equipment and convenient free parking right behind the building, serving customers and clients from 6 months to 99 plus. St. Vital Dental Center does it all, from cleanings and checkups to things like dental implants. They've got you covered. You can find out more online and make an appointment at stvitaldental.ca. And make sure you tell Dr. Terry that the boys at Winnipeg Sports Talk sent you. All right, we got a big slate of games tonight to talk about with Ken Wiebe coming up in just a minute. You need to double dip. Lightning Habs, Sabres Bruins at the same time. Get down to your local Boston Pizza. The BPs have been rocking for the playoffs. Not quite at Jets levels, but I've been into a couple in the last week, and it's been a lot of fun. And you're going to want to check out that new playoff menu as well. Wing flights back, pizza flights back, the new MVP platter. Nothing better to accompany an ice-cold schooner in playoff hockey than your local Boston Pizza. And, of course, if you are staying at home, you can order online at bostonpizza.com. All right, let's get Kenny Wiebe in here. Ken, great to have you back on the program. First things first, we were all very concerned. How is your finger? What's the status, and what's this going to do to the golf tour?
Oh, Andrew, great to be with you as always. Officially fractured finger on the right ring finger after taking a puck on the inside of the glove where there's no padding on Wednesday night. So,
damn.
Yes, unfortunate for sure. I guess could have been worse. I told you last year I got smart and put the full cage on to protect the rest of the chiclets and eyeballs and everything else. But unfortunately, even with new gloves, Huss, and the great technology, they found the 1 in a million spot. Cracked right across the top of the nail and across. Oh, it's just gross. So anyways, I sent Remo the picture, but I don't know. Some of your viewers and listeners may be a little squeamish. So, yes, just it's
what a graphic.
It's been a tough week for the folks on Live, but it's definitely going to be postponed for a bit. Remo, that's incredible work by you.
This is the best. The Manitoba Golf Tour update. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, we have maybe the best graphic in WSD history. After Remo did the great graphic for the Salamonson and the Chibrikov injuries yesterday, Ken Wiebe has broken his finger. We've got the broken bone. As a result, the MB Golf Tour will be postponed. All upcoming events postponed. Ken is focusing on recovery and will be back, and new dates will be announced as soon as possible.
Oh man! All we needed to do was have the Wiebe World music on the background, Remo. Otherwise, just an exceptional job. Have to thank the good folks. I know us. We know we live in times where the healthcare system is constantly under scrutiny. Made an appointment at the St. Boniface walk-in. They sent me to the Emerge at HSC, and the good folks over at the minor injury clinic were super helpful yesterday. So thanks to everyone who came in contact with me and kept me calm and comfortable during a day in the life in the hospital of a sports writer who was trying to enjoy a day off. Yes. So
I don't even know how we move on after that graphic. That was just so funny. And you know what? To Remo's credit, he never told me he had it ready or anything. He probably just knew I'd ask you about it.
No. He mentioned this is one of those where you got to keep the secrets in house to make it an authentic reaction there. So I had not seen the mock-up, but I'm darn impressed by it, Huss. But I'll transition it. I was over at Moose practice today, so. Happy to report. Looks like same lineup except for Garrett Brown, obviously.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
For Solomonson, Garrett Brown was one of the 4 speakers today. Again, I mentioned to you on the show, played against his father at the Max tournament in Calgary. And, this is just a incredibly mature young man coming into the pro game. He's got lots of enthusiasm. He's going to go up against a former Denver Pioneers teammate in Shai Buium, brother of Zeev, I believe. So they had won a championship together the year when Garrett was injured. But he's excited. He's fired up. I mean, he understands that, there's going to be some nerves, obviously, going into the first professional game, coming in a playoff game, Huss. But, again, I'm not saying he's going to make a Porter Martone impact, but this is a guy who just is a couple weeks removed from winning the Frozen Four national championship and having assists on both goals that Denver scored in that game against Wisconsin. So I don't think that he'll be overwhelmed by the moment. This is a guy we've talked about. There's some comparisons to Dylan Sandberg in terms of how he moves around the ice, and he's a guy that can kill some plays defensively, mobile puck mover. Again, he doesn't have eye-popping offensive numbers, but he's got quick feet, and he's going to be under some duress. We know that the Grand Rapids Griffins, Huss, they had the best start in the history of the American Hockey League. They've got 4 lines of potent offense and, the best goalie in the American League. But I think he'll be fired up. I mean, I know he's fired up. We heard him talk about it. So it'll be a great opportunity for, not getting your feet wet. There's, as Braden Yager said today, Huss, there's no tiptoeing into the Calder Cup playoffs. That means time for a full cannonball for Garrett Brown and his new teammates. So it should be a fun series. I had a chance to talk to our pal Bobby Kaiser at the rink this morning. Grand Rapids was going to skate this afternoon too, Huss. So
they haven't played in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we know that having covered the league and been around the league for a long time, there are some, things that are not optimal for when you are a great team. But again, at this time of year, you like to have a little bit of rest too. So I don't expect the Griffins to be overly rusty. They're a high-end team late in the year. They had a little bit of a bobble, that prevented them from, that had allowed the Providence Bruins to pass them by 3 points for the overall title. But I mean, best team in the conference, best team in the division. The Moose will have to be at their best. But I also liked a lot of what I heard today, Huss. I mean, the old underdog role was being thrown at them by my old Sun colleague Paul Friesen, and Braden Yager said flat out, we feel like we can match up well against any team in the league. I don't think that they're going to be leaning into that, and that's smart. I mean, Huss, we've also been around the league long enough to know that there was a Rochester Americans team that was pretty stacked with future Buffalo Sabres, including Ryan Miller, that rolled into and Jason Pominville that rolled into town and were out in 5 games against the Manitoba Moose during that lockout year too. So, it would definitely be an upset if they can pull it off, but I expect this to be a competitive series. I mean, we've talked about it all year. The Moose have a lot of talent. They just struggled to score goals at various points. So I think they'll be taxed.
Sure know how to defend. They sure know how to defend. Like if the big club stuck to the defensive plan like the farm club did this year, we might be having very different conversations on this show right now. Like I was so impressed, Ken, with the way that the team played in those tight minutes late with a lead. And we've got Gus coming on later on in the program.
Oh, good.
I mean, they kept on icing the puck, but I think he won like 4 faceoffs in the last minute of game number 3. And then, I mean, the work that Bauer and the guys did in front of the net, letting DiVincenzo see the puck. And I thought Dom was phenomenal. I imagine, I don't know if he's made it official, and I'd be shocked if he didn't get the game 1 start. But at the same point, I have a feeling that unless the Moose just run the table, we will see Milic in this series as well, in that both of these guys split the work pretty evenly. You're probably going to keep the guy that just won the last 2 games in, but both of them will be in the mix, presumably, in this best of 5.
Yeah, no doubt, Huss. And I thought Milic was steady in game 1. I just didn't get a lot of help and a couple of breakdowns, but DiVincenzo was outstanding in both games. I mean, I was there Wednesday and Sunday, but especially in game 3, as you mentioned. I mean, that shot that he took off the shoulder or collarbone or wherever that ended up hitting him was one of those saves that really stunned him initially, but he battled through and the only unfortunate thing for him, he played so great. It would have been, sure he would have loved to have put up the old goose egg there for the shutout, but that backdoor play he had no chance on. So very impressed by the way Dom DiVincenzo played, and Plus, I know you asked me on this program about 3 weeks ago for some thoughts on Tyrell Bauer, and I was happy to go watch him, and I came away pretty impressed. I mean, Tyrell Bauer has improved his game, Huss. I mean, we know we've been talking about the skating all for the last 3 years. This is a guy who is no longer, again, by Mark Marson's own admission, this guy's not just a tough guy anymore, Huss. He's basically now with Solomonson out. He's going to be on the top pairing, essentially. He was out there protecting the lead when Solomonson couldn't go in those last 5 minutes. I think that his feat impressed me to the degree that I wasn't sure what to expect, Huss, as I told you. I think he's a lot closer to getting that NHL debut than maybe I would have thought of even 3 months ago. And I would say that even this recent development with Solomonson being out 5 to 6 months now, there's a chance he won't be ready for the start of the season. Now that could raise the possibility of Bauer making the opening day lineup. Us again, I'm not sure if he could. It's going to be up to him to see if he's in the sixth, and that could depend on who's brought in or not. But for a team that's looking for some toughness on the back end, I think that he's a lot closer. Again, and I'm not saying he's a 10-year NHLer right now, Huss. That remains to be seen. But I definitely think that Tyrell Bauer's getting his name in the NHL register at some point in the next year or two. And the chances of that coming with the Jets has probably gone up now with the injury to Solomonson.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And listen, I mean, last year was a bit of a struggle for a lot of players on the team. And I think he would have been in that category. But from the games I've watched, and particularly staying in touch with Fink all year long,
yep.
And I'm always asking him about Bauer, and, like many people, I'm asking him about the fight that he was just in, and oh my God, how all that. But he made a point of saying, you really need to just focus on his shifts right now because he's playing at a much higher level than he has been before. And this business about him getting an opportunity, which Chevy mentioned, was not just a thank you for being the great teammate that he is. It's because he's getting close to being able to show what he can do. And I think he'll be a guy we'll be paying a lot of attention to at training camp. And you mentioned with the Solomonson situation, this might be exactly the opportunity that he needs to get a chance earlier in the year, right, as opposed to in the last couple of games. Speaking of Solomonson, I mean, what do we know about this? I was sort of shocked when I just saw the timeline on this recovery of 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, Huss, I mean, you were there, and I mean, it's something that happened right across from us, in the neutral zone. In the press box, you got a perfect view of it, and as soon as he went into the boards, I'm like, oh, that did not look good. And then you watch him go to the bench, and he's kind of trying to keep it loose. And again, they didn't announce what it was. It has to be a separation. I mean, again, I'm not a doctor. We just are asked to play them on YouTube here, but again, I think it's, who knows exactly, the nature or whatever, but it just looked like the way that he went in, I think it's normal recovery. And again, we know that we've seen this year, I think they're probably erring on the side of caution in terms of the timeline, and, everybody recovers at a different rate. But for him, I think that, I think he'll be ready close to training camp or the regular season. But again, this is something that you're not going to rush things with the top prospect on the back end. But I mean, for all the folks saying this gives the Jets the chance to bury him in the minors, like that's wake up territory, Huss. I mean, Solomonson is going to be in the Jets rotation next year, and he will play a prominent role with the Jets, even with this injury here. He may have to take a couple games on a conditioning stint, but the Jets aren't going to be burying. This isn't like the majors, Huss, where you're burying a guy for service time here. This is a guy who has to be part of the mix, and he wants to force himself into the second pairing mix, or let alone being on the third pairing and just on. He's not happy with just being on the team anymore, Huss.
No, I would suggest that he's very much in the mix of top four, top pairing, and as soon as he can get back and get healthy, he will be in the lineup. I did just ask my guy Chad, Chad GPT, the shoulder injury that typically requires 5 to 6 months of recovery is often a significant soft tissue or structural injury. Common examples include a full rotator cuff tear.
There you go.
Requiring surgical repair. A labral tear is treated with surgery, or a dislocation with major ligament damage that needs reconstruction. So anyways, 5 to 6 months. I guess if there was ever a time to have it happen, you'd love to have him in the lineup right now, but that 5 months is sort of September. 6 months would be the end of October.
Yeah.
So regardless, I think the team's going to be starting without him, and there might be an opportunity moving forward for him. For a couple of other guys in his absence, but when he's back, he's on the Jets. I think we all can agree on that. Kenny, outside of the Moose, we've got the Stanley Cup playoffs going on last night. I got to tell you, I mean, obviously we focus in on the Oilers not getting it done, but man, was I impressed with the Ducks. And listen, full disclosure, I mean, I didn't watch a lot of Ducks games this year, and their uniforms are so hideous. Often I'm looking at their opponents when they're playing. I can't believe how good this Jackson Lacombe is. We were just talking about him with Pronger.
Yeah.
He wasn't even making $1 million this year. He's on his ELC. He signed that big 8x9 extension last year. He's going to be a bargain the first day that contract kicks in. What a performance by him in that series.
Absolute stud, Huss, and that pairing with Jacob Trouba, absolutely outstanding. I mean, obviously in our market, we're familiar with the player, and for the folks who thought his career was over in New York, again, this is also, you got to be paying a little bit more attention here. That they were outstanding, and again, not outstanding, just outstanding, like outstanding against McDavid, made McDavid look mortal, Huss, in a lot of ways. Lacombe's feet are incredible. I mean, obviously a great college player. He's a Minnesota guy, but love the way that he plays. The Ducks are super interesting, Huss, and I was fortunate to be on that trip coming out of the Olympic break. And what I'd said to people, Huss, the thing about the Ducks, there's an element of maybe they don't know any better. Like we always talk about experience versus inexperience. And to me, how I explained this when I talked to people around the league, I was like, the Ducks could be swept by the Oilers, Huss, or they could win two or three rounds here. I mean, they've got the kind of team that has depth, as you've talked about on this show this week with Jeffrey Viel, doing an exceptional job on the fourth line for the Ducks, also killing penalties, scoring goals, sometimes moving up in the lineup.
Hughes got him out with 2 minutes left in the game in these 1-goal games, whether they're winning or losing.
For sure. And again, I talked about that with Mark Morrison today. He's another one of the great stories. I mean, we've seen them before, whether it's, Johnny Kovacevic or Mikey Asimont. I mean, he's become the latest in the greatest hits, situation here, where a guy who later bloomer, because he can skate and because he's not afraid to throw down, he's added the defensive element to his game and become a really good NHLer. But I mean, Huss, this is a team like Leo Carlsson is already one of the top two-way players in the National Hockey League at his young age. Cutter Gauthier, you can say what you want about the way he forced his way out of Philly, and not a lot of people liked it, but this guy's an absolute snipe show. The scary part for Anaheim, Huss, Beckett Seneca didn't even really get going in the series. I think he only had 1 or 2 points. So, other guys, like, they got some veterans too. And here's the other part, Huss, and I've been talking about this with people today. I mean, yes, their young studs are guys who drive the bus for them. They've also got a bunch of guys like Alex Killorn with 2 cups. You got Chris Kreider, 35 years old, John Carlson, Stanley Cup winner in his mid-30s. So it's not like they're just rolling out only kids here either, but they got the right veteran pieces around a bunch of young core guys that are going to be good for a long time. Mason McTavish, Huss, had a tough year, but he got himself going at the right time, and they're a team that's going to be, I don't think anyone's going to be looking forward to playing against them in the next round. But again, it's one round, and here's the other scary part. Lucas Dostal, who's a great goalie, didn't really have a great series, to be quite frank. And again, some of that is
far
going
from
again.
it.
He was one of the worst goalies in the NHL in the first round, but stabilized at the right time in Game 6, played his best game of the series. Even after the first goal, I didn't particularly like it that much, but he got himself settled. And now the Ducks are sitting there thinking, hey, we beat the team that just represented the West in the last 2 finals. Why can't we do something else? But it's been a super fun series. Enjoyed watching it. And Utah's been fun to watch too, Huss, but also there too. We've talked a lot about experience. The Vegas Golden Knights experience has really been able to help shine through for them in that round, even though they've kind of been on the ropes and taken a couple of big haymakers from a Utah Mammoth squad that's really young and fun too, but they haven't been able to close. So now again, Vegas still has to win that 4th game, but they're in a pretty good spot here, comparatively speaking to how the series has sort of been a little bit back and forth.
Kenny, before we go, we've got 3 games tonight. 3 Game 6s. How many Game 7s?
I'm going to say there's 2 closeout games today, and there's going to be 1 Game 7. I'm not 100% sure which one it's going to be. I think that Vegas will close out the series, and I do think that Buffalo will also close out the series, but again, it's going to be absolutely banana land here tonight in Montreal. And anyone who's been in that building when the Habs are any good, it's going to be absolutely off the charts. Who knows who's going to bring out the torch? The place is going to be going crazy. But to me, I just feel like that series has been so close that it deserves a Game 7. Not that the other 2 don't, but given the championship pedigree of the Lightning, I kind of feel like and also the other thing too, Huss. Vasi let in a stinker for the game winner. There's no other way around that. Yes, bad change. Wrist shot from the middle of the circle cannot be going off your glove and in. With all due respect to Alexandre Texier, that's one that can't go in against the guy who's probably going to win the Vezina. So, expecting those to, all 3 games are going to be fantastic. I do think that Utah is going to kind of lament the chance to kind of put Vegas away. And then too, with Boston Buffalo, yes, it could go 7, but I also feel like it's going to be a really fun game. I think they're going to go. Buffalo's going to go on the road and probably close that series out and give Sabres fans their first series to cheer about in a long, long time. And yeah, it's been super fun playoffs. Obviously Minnesota getting to the second round for the first time since 2015. Nino Niederreiter scored the series clincher in 2015 for the Wild. It's just absolutely crazy to think about. I do have to. Again, I didn't get that series right. I thought Dallas was going to win that coin flipper, but fortunate to have picked the Ducks in that series. But we'll see what happens moving forward here. Should be a lot of fun in the weekend here, and yeah, should be some fun. I know you had Dwight on this week, and should be a fun week ahead for the folks in Niverville and Flin Flon at the Centennial
Rennie's
Cup.
old buddy, the wedding partney bros.
Yes, indeed. Dwight Hurst and company, they've done a great job there with that program, as we talked about last weekend.
That'll be going next week when we chat next week. They'll just be getting going on the Centennial Cup out in PEI. Remo, if you can, take the playoffs out there. Put up the graphic one more time. I have one more thing, and Rewucki's about to come on. We'll enjoy this. Remis has put together a graphic, not of the Weeb's world. No, we need the injury graphic that was showed up earlier. That is also quite good.
Oh man,
we now have an injury. This is the Manitoba Golf Tour
Amazing.
update with Ken Wiebe, who broke his finger, and the MB Golf Tour is postponed. The final question, Ken, for you is: will this broken finger prevent you from rocking out to one Tristan Rivers music and the GNR and AC/DC cover bands tonight at the A?
I think I might have to leave that to you, Huss, unfortunately, but no, it's going to be a darn good show. When you sent that to me, I was going to try to do my best to adjust some scheduling, but I'm going to have to
What are you doing at 10 o'clock tonight?
I'm going to have to be.
This is an outrage after all Tristan has done for you and Sean.
Oh, we're going to be out to support him again. Don't worry.
Yeah, Ken. Yeah, he's got a booth. He's got a booth reserved at Solid Gold tonight. That's why.
Easy now. Hey,
that was obviously a joke.
I know. Yes, of course. And no joke here. Thanks to the folks who reached out this week. obviously, tough news in the hockey world with John Garrett's passing. Great friend of KNR. We're going to miss him, and great to see the outpouring of support for him and his family. And so we talked about Vegas earlier. I don't know if you saw it, but John Tortorella, just a great job of sharing some of his thoughts the day after and getting in touch with the family. John's daughter was working in Tampa, I think, when they won the cup together. So obviously some tough news for those who knew John, but great to see the way that the hockey world has rallied around one another. And speaking of that, lots of neat posts about our friend Jessie Pierce there, and what she would have thought of that Wild series win. The first
only
Wild
thing that
win.
Makes me happy about the Wild win.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I have been thinking about her, and this is why the Wild, like, weird things happen. You get this magic sort of at the playoffs, and I thought about that right out of the gate. After everything that happened, that they'd sort of built up. The expectations were higher. I saw, was it Judd posted at the end. That was a pretty touching tribute at the end of that series. Wiebe, have a good weekend. If you can change your schedule, you know where to find us tonight.
Yes, I do, Ben. If not, enjoy the show, and we'll see you. We'll see you at the Moose games this weekend, my friend.
Yeah, you bet. See you at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Good stuff. All right, there is Ken Wiebe. Busy weekend. We got the Moose games at 2 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, and tomorrow and Sunday is the world famous Royal Sports tent sale. Do not miss out on this, folks. 10 a.m. it gets going on Saturday, 10 to 5, 11 to 5 on Sunday at 750 Pembina Highway. Over 2,000 pairs of shoes from all of your favorite brands, cleats, clothing, and much more, all sizes, up to 50% off. You will never see deals like this, and you will never see selection and options like this. If you've been to a Royal tent sale before, you know what to expect. If you haven't, get down there tomorrow. The earlier, the better, and get the pick of the crop for the first Royal Sports tent sale of the year. 10 a.m. The doors open Saturday morning, 750 Pembina Highway. Vans, Puma, DC, New Balance, Etnies, On, Under Armour, Brooks, Lakai, Converse, Globe, much more. And they've got soccer, football, and baseball cleats to the tent. These ones are going to go fast. So get there early tomorrow and Sunday for the Royal Sports tent sale. It is May, and that means it's baseball season, if you can believe. Goldeyes training camp gets going this week. But May 19th is the date that you need to circle on your calendar, because that is the Goldeyes home opener. I cannot wait. They're over 80% sold for the home opener. The home opener is always a super fun game. Everyone getting back to the ballpark. 5,000 Goldeyes jerseys are going to be given away, so you'll want to get there early. And listen, get your tickets early and get them on your phone. Do that through goldeyes.com. We were there last year, and there was like 500 people in line. It is so easy to do it digitally. Goldeyes.com to get your tickets. Breaking news: foot-long hot dogs have been added to the menu this year, and there is an amazing new concession stand that's doing Korean fried chicken and rice bowls and stuff. Cannot wait. But May 19th, Goldeyes home opener. Get your tickets, goldeyes.com. Can't wait to see the ballpark improvements that they did over the offseason and get things going for the first of 100 or 50 at home for the Goldeyes on May 19th. All right, Rewucki's just about to jump on with us, but I also wanted to welcome our friends at Travel Manitoba. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff over the course of the next few months with Michael and the Travel Manitoba gang. But if you're planning your next adventure, start with Travel Manitoba. Whether you're searching for road trip inspiration, hidden gems, or the latest festivals and events, everything you need is waiting at travelmanitoba.com. Looking for ideas on the go? Follow along on social media at Travel Manitoba for real-time inspiration, local tips, and can't-miss experiences from across the province. Or if you prefer a personal touch, stop by their Visitor Information Center at the Forks in Winnipeg. And we're going to be doing a show down at the Visitor Information Center coming up next month. So really looking forward to that. Again, travelmanitoba.com, and make sure to follow them on all the socials for the upcoming content. All right, let's get Rewucki in here. Brandon Rewucki joins us, and maybe it's good that we had a couple days after the big Flyers win for you to cool down. But I guess some congratulations are in order. Everyone's talking about the Ducks in these other series. Your Flyers are home and cooled and ready to take on the Carolina Hurricanes. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, that's the feeling I had on Wednesday night. Not absolute terror and preparing for the choke of all chokes. No, life is good now. But they made it pretty difficult. But all in all, I would say this is the Philadelphia version of the Stanley Cup, where they don't win it, but they send the Crosby Malkin Penguins into retirement. So For a young team, we'll take it. And now to get swept by the Hurricanes, so should be a good start beginning on Saturday.
Yeah, do you have much hope for this round two? And I mean, I know you always kind of play it down, but tell you what, they're one of the last 8 teams standing right now, and not a lot of people picked them against the Penguins.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's going to be a rout for Carolina. The Flyers played them pretty tight during the regular. I think 3 of the 4 went to OT. I don't think Philly won any of them, but at least they went to OT. I mean, in all reality, though, these are just 2 teams in different life cycles right now as franchise. Like Carolina might just be the favorite in the East, and the Flyers are just kind of, for them hoping to begin what is the first of many trips to the postseason. So, I mean, but like no Oilers for the Hurricanes. I think the Flyers can take a couple of games. I just don't really, it's hard for me to objectively look at this and go, yeah, this is a series the Flyers can win 4 out of 7 times, but great learning experiences for the youngsters. And tell you what, I know he didn't get nominated for the Vezina or wasn't a finalist for it, but I don't know, man. There's not too many goalies I'd be taking ahead of Dan Vladar right now. He's just been such a revelation for the team. And I mean, any hope that they pull it off, Vladar plays like he did against Pittsburgh in Game 6. They can push Carolina to the brink.
He was phenomenal. He's been all year. I was stunned. Wyshynski was on with Dusty in Edmonton and said he had Vladar on his heart ballot. So, I mean, you pretty much know who the first 4 guys are, and then it was sort of a gap in everybody else. But, I mean, a pretty great story for what he's done. What's the latest on Oilers?
I mean, I saw one thing that he's potentially out for the series. I mean, we're in full, nobody knows anything mode, but I don't know what the injury is, but it was one probability percentage to win the series, and the site that I was at listed it as the Oilers is they're doing it with the knowledge that Oilers is out for the series. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, there's a lot of BS that gets floated out there, but he practiced in a regular jersey apparently today, so I hadn't heard that he was going to be out that much. So maybe there you go. Mark down. Let's just pick Oilers anytime goal scorer game 1 right now after all the subterfuge throwing out there. Before we go, what do you think about these games tonight? Who do you think can get to 7?
I'll tell you what, the team I don't think is Tampa Bay. I mean, I just don't know how Montreal, with that crowd behind them tonight, does. I think there's the potential that they bury them in the first. And I don't know, man. I think I've had enough of the Charlie Brown, the football being pulled away, where I take the Lightning to go on a deep run and they just can't get out of the first. Like, I'm just done. I'm so sick of it right now. And I mean, you hear so much about, McDavid and, name your other top NHLer that doesn't get it done in the postseason. And I know they have a couple of cups to mitigate that, but it's been 4 to 5 years of really substandard play from Kucherov and Vasilevsky in the playoffs. And I don't know, everyone, there's just this assumption they're going to flip the switch. And I don't know. I just don't really see it playing out that way. So unless Hagel continues to do his best Reggie Leach consummate on a losing team impression, I think Montreal's going to get it done tonight. I don't want it to happen. I can see Boston doing a 180 from their last home game and pushing Buffalo into what'll be one hell of an atmosphere on Sunday. And then what was the third game again?
Utah Vegas tonight.
I'll take Utah.
I think
they could series if they could just get their heads straight in the final 5 minutes of a game. But
well, exactly. And listen, credit Jack Eichel's been amazing. He's been the best player in the in the series. But man, they could be done now. This series could be over. Never mind Vegas being up 3-2. So I'm sort of with you. And I mean, we talk about that atmosphere in the Bell Center, Delta Center, not quite as big, but the fans that will be there will be bringing it, much like the Habs fans tonight. And that is going to be a great environment. If they can get a lead early, hopefully they can be a bit better holding it down, and we will have some hockey on Sunday. Hey, just before we go, kind of neat, Moose Griffin's going at it. Just got word that newly signed Garrett Brown going to make his debut in the playoffs with Salamonson out. I mean, we've got a chance to see a bunch of these young guys, but that's a new guy that I don't think many fans know much about, coming from another national championship. Be great to see him, see what he can do to help the squad against the Griffins starting tomorrow. Yeah,
do his best Porter Martone impression. Come from college and start lighting it up right away. I mean, he's got a pro body, right? Like, that's, as far as measurables go, he ticks a lot of boxes there. So I haven't seen a ton of him, but it's exciting for him to get the opportunity. And like you said, it's one of those situations where he's not going to come in and I think play 7 minutes on the third pair. Like, he's going to get a decent amount of ice time. And if he acquits himself very well early, who knows? Right? You never know. It would be nice for the Jets to get, in a week of really awful news on the injury front, to get a bit of a boon in terms of Mr. Garrett coming out and looking hot right out of the stretch.
Good stuff, Brandon. Listen, you have a great weekend, though. We'll catch up with you soon, pal.
Sounds good. Have a good one, guys.
Hey, speaking of the Moose, if you missed it earlier or yesterday, you still have time, if you're with us live on YouTube, to go to winnipegsportstalk.com, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. Throw in your details and your email, and after we speak with David Gustafsson and Kirt Contois, we will let you know the winners for the weekend tickets for either games 1 or 2. You'll have the choice of either game, and you'll win a pair. If you want to bring an extra, you can get those at the same time you select the seats. So if you want to go to the game and you want to win tickets, winnipegsportstalk.com/contest. Do that now. We will announce the winners in less than half an hour. The Gus Bus is coming up in just a minute. Shout out to our friends at Aikens Lake. They're just about to take off and get out to be ready to welcome guests in for the 2026 fishing season at Aikens Lake Wilderness Lodge. If you're looking for an incredible fly-in fishing experience where you can be on the water in less than 2 hours from the city of Winnipeg, Aikens Lake is the spot. As incredible as the world-class fishing is, the world-class hospitality from the Aikens team and the Terren family is even better. Head over to aikenslake.com for more information on options and availability for the 2026 fishing season over at Aikens Lake. Our friends at Breezy are ready to get going for another great golf season. I cannot wait to get out there and start swinging them with the fellas. If you're thinking about a great long-term golfing home for you and your family at one of Winnipeg's top private courses, make sure to check out Breezy Bend. You can get more information at breezybend.ca or give our pal Corey Johnson a call at 895-7205. Just while we're talking Breezy, quick update from the Cadillac Championship. Cam Young, 3 under through his round. He is 3 clear of Canadian Nick Taylor at the top of the leaderboard. Nick was a 2 under 70 today after a 66 yesterday. He's tied for second at 8 under par. Cam Young is at 11. And after a tough day yesterday for our guy, Sudarshan Yelamaraju, learned the game at the Golf Dome. Darsh went off today, 6 under 66. He's 4 under right now, tied for 14th. Taylor Pendrith also with the Canadian flag on the board, 6 under or 4 under as well at 14. Following the Cadillac Championship all weekend long, Cam Young, the guy to beat. All right, David Gustafsson is going to join us in just a minute to discuss the big series against the Griffins starting tomorrow. First up, though, it's Friday. Let's give a big cheers to our friends at Winnipeg's favorite local brewery, Little Brown Jug.
You train day in and day out, learning new techniques, approaching new concepts, and living out the thrill of achieving your goals. Building a craft beer is no different. While you spend your hours on the ice, we spend ours here, brewing our trademark beer. Again, again, and again. Here's to pushing the status quo and challenging ourselves to build something memorable. 1919 by Little Brown Jug.
Tomorrow, 2 p.m., Sunday, 2 p.m., it is Calder Cup playoff action at the Canada Life Centre. The Moose and the Grand Rapids Griffins, Game 1 and Game 2 of their playoff series, and what a pleasure it is to welcome in the Gus Bus himself, David Gustafsson of the Manitoba Moose. David, thanks so much for doing this. Great to have you back on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be back.
How's the week been? You had the great victory on the weekend, and I'm sure you guys have been sort of, at this point, looking forward to dropping the puck again and getting back out in front of the home fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long wait, it feels like. It's been a long time since we won that Milwaukee series, so we're excited to get back again, playing in front of fans.
I imagine Grand Rapids has got that almost twice. And what was the end of the regular season? It's like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that. So they've been sitting for a while, and that's something I guess we try to take advantage of.
No doubt about it. I mean, just quickly, let's go back to last weekend. Obviously, the first game didn't go the way you guys wanted it, but the two tough, tight, impressive victories on the weekend. How do you look back at that series, and what will you and the team take from the victory over Milwaukee into the Grand Rapids series?
Well, I think overall, like, our team played a great games. Our defensive mindset was really good. I mean, except for that first game, we didn't give them much. Didn't give them much opportunities to score, and that's going to be even more important now against Grand Rapids because they're a high-scoring team, and it's going to be tough. But I feel like we got a good chance.
You've always been, a real high-quality two-way player. It seems like that two-way identity is really what this entire team is built on. I mean, it's not dependent on one line. And when the team is playing well and winning, more often than not, the goals against are really being kept down. How would you just describe the strengths of the Moose and when you guys are at your best, how the team's playing?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we're trying to play 2-1 games. That's when we do that, that's when we play our best. And that's how we won against Milwaukee. I mean, it was 2-1, 3-1 maybe. And then that's kind of how we try to go against Grand Rapids too. As I said, they're a really high-scoring team, and it's going to be a real challenge. But like keeping that goal against down is what we're trying to do. And as you said, we're a four-line team who everyone tries to play a two-way game. So defense first is our mantra.
You know, the defense was, you guys were defending as a five-man unit. I thought the defensemen, we talked to Tyrell Bauer yesterday. I thought they did a great job of letting the goaltenders see the puck. And then, what can you say about Dom DiVincentis coming in for game 2 and 3 and really stepping up and showing that he was playoff ready?
Yeah, I mean, he saved us a bunch of times those two games. Like he played unreal. Like, I thought we played a good defensive game, but whenever Milwaukee got to good scoring chances anyway, then Dom was right there and saving us. So that was huge for us. And as you said, Tyrell Bauer too. Like he was, like all of these trying to make the life easy for Dom. And I don't know how many shots Tyrell Bauer blocked those games, but it was a lot.
I saw you smile the minute I mentioned Bauer. He seems to be like such a great character, a popular teammate, and a guy that will do literally anything to help his team. And obviously he's had a few of, some of the most insane fights I've ever seen. Like, what's it been like sometimes being on the bench watching Bauer do what he's done for the Moose this year?
I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, you don't win teammate of the year by just like not being a guy like Bauer is. Like he's just the best teammate to have around. And if something happens on the ice, he always has your back no matter what. Like you can trust him. He would be the guy I want in my corner.
He'd be the guy who I want in my corner too, to be perfectly honest with you. It will be there will be a lot on the defenses. And again, this is going to be part of the forwards too to help them out because you mentioned the high octane offense of what Grand Rapids brings to the table. You don't need to take us in the video room of where you're going on, but just thoughts on the challenge of raising the team's level to go up against a team that's been so good so year, but at the same time trying to carry the momentum of those 2 great games against Milwaukee into tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. Like the carry that momentum as we had against Milwaukee, because I thought we played our best games of the year, honestly, and that's what you want in playoffs. If we can carry that momentum, it's going to be huge for us. And really try to take advantage that they've been sitting around here for 2 weeks. I mean, you're always a little rusty coming back after just sitting for 2 weeks, and we're coming off a high from our playoff series, trying to take advantage of that in game 1. And then, as you said, defense. And it's not only our defensemen and our goalie, like it's our forwards too. Like everyone needs to step it up and play defense as a 5-man unit.
When you guys were defending that lead against Milwaukee in the last kind of 3 minutes or so, I mean, I don't know how many times you even went off the ice or came on. Like, I don't have the numbers, but it seemed like you were out there the whole time. And man, were you dominating in the faceoff circle. And that was actually something I think the team did quite well overall in the game. But take us through those final 3 minutes of how much time you were out there and how many times you had to get back down and take a draw.
Yeah, I mean, as a centerman, that's what you dream of, being the guy that gets to take those faceoffs in the most important part of the game. And, you're just trying to embrace it and do it as well as you can. And it went pretty good. And as you said too, like our whole team, like all the centermen and even the wingers too, helping you out when it's a 50-50 puck. But I think our stats against Milwaukee as a team was really good in the faceoff circle. So that's something we got to bring into against Grand Rapids too, because that can change the momentum totally. Like if you can get a faceoff win in the O zone and then maybe score an easy goal right after, compared to. And then the other way around too. Like if you can win those big faceoffs in the D zone at the end of the game, that's gonna probably help you win the game.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Now, you were on a line with the captain, Mason Shaw, and Walker Duer, who's made a big impact. I mean, this is an opportunity for you to play like a major role on a team. I mean, when you're cracking in your time in the NHL, you've been, a very effective player, but this is a different role. I mean, tell us about the season so far, getting to play as much as you've had, maybe some of the different situations that you've been used in. I mean, how will you look back at this year for you personally with the Moose going into this series?
I mean, it's been a real good year, like development-wise for me, for sure. Like, as you said, playing those big minutes, playing in big moments, that like helps you mentally to like feel like, I'm a good hockey player. I don't have to worry about that. And you get a lot more confidence and start making plays that you were afraid to do last year. And that's stuff that really helps you in your development for sure. And as you said, I had a few tough years with the Jets, hard to get ice time and stuff. So it's been fun being here and actually getting to play a lot. And I think I have great chemistry with Mason Shaw and Walker Duer too. Like we play really good as a line, and we play hockey kind of similar in the same way. So we're having a great time out there together.
Well, and what's fun is winning, and your team did it on the weekend and go in. And I mean, this Grand Rapids team, we've talked about them all year. I mean, they had that insane start, maybe weren't at that level in the second half, but I mean, you guys have beaten them before. You know them very well. How would you say the team is feeling in your confidence level going into a series that you probably won't be the favorites to win, but you know that you've got a shot to, as they say, that's why they play the games, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're confident. I know Grand Rapids broke a lot of records this season. They've been unreal during the regular season for sure. But as you said, we've beaten them before. We can do it again. And, we're just coming off this high against beating Milwaukee. And I think every guy in our locker room feel like we got a good chance of beating Grand Rapids too.
Yeah, and it was some real unfortunate news from the team yesterday about your countryman, Elias Salmonson, who is having surgery and is going to be out for the year. He, obviously had a great period of time within the NHL this year. You saw the difference that he made. Just from someone that was a teammate for him for so much, how far has he come as a player? And then just thoughts on how everyone else is going to step up and need to do a little bit more without him in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, Sal has developed unreal this season. I mean, he's just been getting better and better every day. And I thought you could see when he was up with the Jets, he looks like an NHL player. Like, there's no doubt about that. And I think he's going to have a great career up there for sure. So that sucks for us that he got injured in these 2 games because he really brought a difference. I mean, he's he won both games he played, so that says something. And you feel bad for him as a friend too, because it's no fun being injured and missing games like this. But there's some big opportunities for other defensemen right now, and that's kind of been the thing we've been doing all year. Like, guys go get injured, there's always other guys that can step up, and because I think we got a really deep team.
David Gustafsson with us, getting ready for Moose and Griffins Game 1 of the Calder Cup Playoffs, Saturday at 2 p.m., Sunday 2 p.m. as well. Folks, we do have a special deal for you for tickets. There is a link in the description of the video. We'll put it in the live chat as well for those of you that are with us on YouTube. Great atmosphere last weekend. And, David, coming into this series, even though you don't have technically home ice advantage, this series starts with games 1 and 2 in Manitoba. It goes without saying these are very important to get results in for your club, but just thoughts on starting off at home and the support you've had from Moose fans last weekend and hopefully over the course of the next 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge that we get to start at home because, getting that home crowd going. And, hopefully we get as many fans as possible for these 2 games because they made a real difference in the last series for sure. And I think Grand Rapids know what they're going to expect when they come into the rink.
Well, listen, it's been the last series was so much fun, and to see the way you guys battled back, persevered. And I was saying this to Bauer when we spoke with him yesterday. Your team sort of reminds me of an old adage from Paul Maurice that the team, he wanted to get the team being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And it seems like your team, whether you're up a goal, down a goal, tied in the third period, you've played in so many tight games all season long. It kind of feels like this has been training for the playoffs because you played sort of a playoff type hockey throughout the regular season.
Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, I think the thing we did best against Milwaukee is that we were able to play the same way, even if we were down a goal, even if we lost the first game and we couldn't lose a single another game because it was a best of 3 series. I think we still played our way, and that's ultimately what got us winning because we just kept playing the way we play, and we did it really good too.
Well, you led the way. You're an absolute beast in that first round series, and guys, hope it can continue. Really looking forward to getting out to the games. Wishing you, the Manitoba Moose, luck in games 1 and 2. We'll be there in the building cheering you guys on. And let's cross our fingers. We've got some more playoff series down the road to get you back on the show. But thanks so much for the time. Get some good rest tonight, and good luck on the weekend against Grand Rapids.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew.
All right, great stuff with David Gustafsson. Again, hang tight. Kirt Contois is about to join us, and then we will let you know who our winners are for the tickets for the playoffs. 2 p.m. tomorrow, 2 p.m. on Sunday. If you want a bunch of seats, there's a link in the description. Remis put it in the chat. Jump on that, save a few bucks on tickets, and we will see you at the rink for Moose playoffs. It is the start of May. And that also means we are now, believe it or not, just 11 days from opening day at Assiniboia Downs. May 12th will be the date. We're actually going to be doing a contest throughout May where some of you lucky listeners and viewers will be able to join the WST team in the bar, or in the dining room, I should say, for that amazing prime rib buffet and some racing. We're going to do that in early June. So stick around to the program, enter to win, and we'll give you details on that next week. Darren Dunn is going to join us just before the opening of the season, which, of course, opening day is May 12th, Tuesday. They're going Tuesday and Wednesday throughout the month of May, and then we start getting into a few more Mondays beginning at the start of June. But it kind of feels like spring is here, And the official start of the season for horse racing means the start of the Triple Crown, Churchill Downs, Kentucky Derby. And it would not be Derby weekend without a visit from our good friend Kirt Contois from Assiniboia Downs to give us some insight on the run for the Roses. Kirt, what's going on? How are you?
I'm excellent, Hustler. And as you said, with the snow melting and the Kentucky Derby, excitement abounding around the racetrack, tons of horses and a lot of new ones. We got new jockeys, we got new trainers, all ready to unleash their superstars that they think they have. And we'll see when it comes to the racetrack whether they are superstars or not. But right now, everybody's just gushing away, waiting for opening day. But the Kentucky Derby means it's right around the corner. So that's the talk of the town in the backstretch right now. And it's so funny. In this Derby, it's more spread out than almost any other Derby I've seen on the horses that they like.
Yeah, well, listen, just before we dive into the Derby, just what's happening around the track right now? I guess this is probably a really busy time with the last few weeks, really, with horses arriving, trainers. This is lots of practice. Everybody getting ready for the start of the year in about 11 days.
Well, that's exactly it. So right now, half our horses didn't race in the winter. They were sitting out in the pasture, enjoying life, but now they're back on the grounds. Now they got to do their little workouts to get them back to being race fit. So they're galloping every day and they're working about once a week. And as they work out, they get closer and closer to racing. Kind of a rule of thumb is about 4 workouts and run. Some trainers like a little more, some a little less, but a lot of the horses on the backside have 2 works at least under their belt. They're getting another one this week and then another one next week and getting ready for the season. So over 350 horses. And by the time May rolls around, by the end of May, I think we're going to reach about 500 horses in total.
Wow, this should be a phenomenal year coming up. That all starts on May 12th. So let's dive into tomorrow. The Derby.
Okay, well,
and
20 horses.
Yeah, 20 horses. And, you know, as I pull up the odds board, and Coolbet's got something that's kind of a good, I had a tough time finding it on HPI, but you can, of course, use HPI for it all around. Here you have it. We're seeing Renegade in between 4-1 and 5-1.
That should be about right.
Commandment, we're seeing on this one, it's 6-1. I'm seeing a plus 575. Further Ado at 6-1. And then not too far back, Sheaf Wallaby, the Puma. Usually there's a bit more of a clear-cut favorite for the Derby, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, but Renegade would have been a little bit more clear-cut of a favorite. Just has looked absolutely amazing, but it drew post position number 1, and you'd think that that would be the best post because they're on the rail and everything, but it has 19 horses from the outside that are all going to be coming down to that rail and figuring out a place to run. The last winner that came out of post position number 1 was back in 1986. Ferdinand got it done. So it's been 40 years since a horse out of the one-hole won, but Renegade definitely has all the talent in the world, but it's about getting that clean trip, and that's going to be tough to do.
Well, that is, listen, that's just part of the game. I'm sure the owners groaned when they saw the the draft or the lane assignments.
Well, the trainer did. Once they drew it, there was a big gasp, shaking his head. He knows what the one hole means. It's kind of a little bit of a curse to get it.
Marbles open, by the way, if you want to get in on the race, ! Marbles in the chat, everybody. So put it this way, are you riding with Renegade or are you going a little further down the board?
Oh, I'm going a little further down the board. And just to add on, the number 5 Right to Party has been scratched earlier this morning. So now the 23 horse Robusta will be in the field of 20. So yeah, 3 scratches, Silent Tactic. You have Full Effort. So the 13's out, the 20's out. And now the 5's out today. So that adds the 21, 22, and 23. But I'm bombs away in the Derby this year. I went to number 10, Wonder Dean. Not many people know about this horse. It's been running in Europe, United Emirates, Saudi Arabia. And what a good win last time out. Ran down 6-Speed, who is also in this race. And it was a loose speed horse that day. And I really liked the way the horse just picked up and ran right by him down the lane to get the win. But it was the previous start that the horse was in, also in Saudi Arabia, where the winner is undefeated and was the one to beat. The horse that ran second was a Breeders' Cup horse that ran fourth. And the horse that ran third was also undefeated. So it's ran against nothing but a bunch of undefeated horses in its last couple starts. And it has a win in a fourth. And that fourth place finish, he ran around the middle of the racetrack every step of the way. If I was the owner, I would have grabbed the jockey by the neck and said, what were you doing out there? How are we supposed to win? We ended up going an extra eighth of a mile. But that is my bomber in here. And the way the Japanese horses have been getting better year to year, as we've seen Forever Young 2 years ago, run that big race against Mystic Dan in Sierra Leone and only got beat by a narrow neck. I'm looking at this one to be bombs away. And as you can tell, the morning line is 30-1.
Yeah. So Wonder Dean, horse number 10, is a bit of a big swing, which we certainly love in and around the Derby.
Yeah, I know you do.
Listen, so I mean, if we're going to maybe put a toonie or something on Wonder Dean for a big win, if it's not one, who are the other ones in the mix? And I mean, if say we were going to put 3 or maybe 4 horses in my old favorite, the Triactor box, trying to get the top 3 here. I mean, who are the other ones that you think are contenders that you might suggest to ride with Wonder Dean?
Well, definitely Renegade. That's one of my selections. Even with a bad trip, Renegade is good enough to get up there for the top 3. But I also like number 9, the Puma. This horse has run back to back to back, really good races, fighting down the lane. And I like horses that have that heart. That Commandment beat it last time, and I thought the Puma won the photo, but his jockey has moved him a little early in both of those starts. This being the Derby, you can't just move early, because if you do, you're going to be like 9 wide and then lose all chance. I think it's going to be a better ride. So I'm liking the Puma at 10-1. And I do like also Further Ado on the far outside. He won by 11 last time out, didn't beat anything in there. That was just a paid workout. But this horse has showed really good run also. But I'm not a big fan of the post position, but at least he gets down a little to post 16 with the scratches on the inside. So I give him a little bit better of a shot.
Now, hey, Kirt, while we're here, I was kind of interested in the Kentucky Oaks today. I know Dave Portnoy's got his Grays stable and lovely Grays in that one. So I was just sort of checking it out. You were mentioning just before you came on, I mean, there is a horse that you love in the Oaks a little later today.
I love this horse. It's Percy's Bar. It's a horse that ran in the Breeders' Cup last year and ended up running third. And if you can run in the top 4 in the Breeders' Cup, you're one of the best 2-year-olds. And this horse, first start of the year, my word, looks so good, had so much horse at every given point, won really easy, and beat an undefeated horse that was going off at $2.80 on the board and beat it like it was standing still when it made its run, galloped out really good. And I think this 3-year-old campaign is going to be a good one for Percy's Bar. And I'm loving the early morning line of 6-1.
Beautiful. Well, let's get off to a great start. Top up the HPI account before we even get going with as I try to three-peat against Remis in our picks competition. It's been a good couple of years. Well, I mean, listen, I had the miracle play at the end, not last year, but the year before, third last day of racing. I hit a $1 triactor for $1,200.
Oh, nice.
It was the craziest ever. Like, I thought there was a mistake on my account, and it wasn't. It was the old, in Monopoly, you get the card, the bank error in your favor. I thought that's what it was. We actually managed to do it. And then it was really tight last year, but we had it. So we'll get going with our picks for Assiniboia Downs live racing starting on May the 11th. But it's going to be May 12th. Darren's joining us on May 11th. May 12th is the opening day, so we will set it all up with Darren. But for folks that are really into the Derby, Assiniboia Downs would be a great place to watch it.
Oh, definitely. Lots of action. And when those horses start rolling down the stretch, you're not going to get a better adrenaline rush, even if you don't bet the race, for the 22 seconds of just watching people go absolutely ballistic. It's amazing how this game, whether you have $2 on it or $1,000 on it, people cheer the same, and it's an adrenaline rush when your horse actually wins.
Well, I'm going to ride with you on the 10, and then we're going to put something together with the 1, the 9, and the 18. Maybe this is a huge race. Maybe this will be the very rare superfecta. We'll go with the 20 centers, and we'll put something together. But definitely going to ride with you on Wonder Dean, and hopefully between the Oaks and today, we will just be talking about the Swami, Kirt Contois, with his season opening visit, giving us all these winners on Winnipeg Sports Talk. If you want more information on Assiniboia Downs for the upcoming year, make your reservations in the dining room for that date you're going to come out. It is all available at asdowns.com. And of course, if you're looking to bet on the Derby or whatnot, hpibet.com. That's where we make our wagers on the track throughout the year when we're not able to make it out to Assiniboia Downs in person. Kirk, enjoy the run for the Roses. Thank you for your wisdom as always. Let's get a couple winners this weekend, and we will see you opening day, May 12th at Assiniboia Downs.
That sounds great, Hustler. You take care of yourself, and good luck.
Thanks so much. All right, there's Kirt Contois. Right on. This is a great time of year. Last year, admittedly, I was in Dallas watching the Jets in the second round of the playoffs. Or no, I guess this is the 1-year anniversary of the Manitoba Miracle, Remis, isn't it?
Yeah, May 4 was the Manitoba Miracle. It was a Sunday.
Wasn't it May 1st?
I believe it was May 4 because May the 4th be with you. I do remember from that day.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know why I was convinced that it was the. It was a 17-day series. That thing
was
spanned,
it that long?
Yeah, the Jets and Blues were the first game of the Stanley Cup Playoffs first round, and they were the last game of the Stanley Cup Playoffs first round last year.
Yeah. May 4, 2025. I remember a Sunday night, and again, I was supposed to pick my wife up from the airport, but I had to bail on that as we were stuck at the game. Yeah, I think my dad ended up going. So I may, with the Jets out of the playoffs on May 4, that is Monday, the eve of the draft lottery, I may sit back and rewatch the highlights of that game and remember my emotions. As round 2, they did just announce this morning that round 2, game 1, Flyers Hurricanes is Saturday. They needed a game, and they have Tuesday right now is Minnesota, Colorado, but we'll wait. The other games are all TBD. They're waiting to see, who's going to go. Sunday is potential game 7. Either Canadians, either of the ones tonight could be game 7 Sunday. And then we'll have to wait and see. But for sure, Tuesday is, I don't know. Maybe it's wrong then. But I know, Monday for sure. I was going by Score. Score app had Colorado, Minnesota on Tuesday. NHL.com does not. But I know for sure they need to have some Saturday night games. They put out late. Flyers, Hurricanes, game 1 tomorrow at 7.
Yeah, no. Tomorrow at 7?
Tomorrow's Saturday, so yes. They need to have a Saturday night game. So if that means announcing the start time the day before the game, they're going to do that.
Hey, listen, I'm totally here for it. Awesome. Philly hurt game 1, the second round before the first round even ends. Great scheduling, NHL. So there will be a game tomorrow night. I'm here for it.
Normally, yes. Normally they didn't do that. They would wait. But I think it's been too long. You can't have these teams sitting around. Give them some off days. We need a game on Saturday. We can't have extended days off here.
No, exactly. Now, listen, just let's get over to the Coolbet lines for these games tonight. I should mention that if you go to Coolbet right now and you just, all you want to do is just put a little sprinkle on a horse or two for the Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby is up right now. And the odds, you can bet the winner, you can bet a team to be in the top 3, and you can also bet, I always do this, you can bet a horse to finish last. There's a few other props. The cloth of winning horse, which is odd or even, starting gate, gates 1 to 9 or gates 10 to higher. There's all sorts of kind of fun props. But the bottom line is, if you want to get on any of those horses, I think that Wonder Dean will obviously come down from the opening 30. This is baked into it already, 22 to 1. The difference with the betting at Coolbet is you'll get whatever number you bet at the time you bet it, as opposed to horse racing where you'll bet it at a certain number and that fluctuates right up until the final buzzer. But the Kentucky Derby up at Coolbet right now, and Patty mentioned this, and I'm going to retweet this right now from my account if you want details. But the Cabot Links contest is calling again. Coolbet has teamed up and sponsored the RBC Challenge with the PGA of Canada. And, we'll have all the qualifiers here around Manitoba. The winners will get their trip out and will play in the national championship, the RBC Scramble. But there's a second way to go, and that is over at Coolbet. Go to the promos, click on it, opt in with code CABOT26, and you can earn points in the sportsbook and the casino. And if you win, you and your foursome will be headed out to Cabot. Now, they've tweaked it a little bit. You get a ballot for every $25 that you bet. But there's bonuses right now. Tennis, and just like casino table games, it's 1 point multiplier. If you're betting hockey, basketball, or slots in the casino, it's 2 points multiplier. So essentially 2 ballots for the $25. Soccer, baseball, and the CFL is 3 times. Lacrosse, MMA, horse racing is 4 times. And golf is 5 times. So for someone like me that loves to bet golf, loves to bet the CFL, gets picks from Big Maple to bet MMA, and now, of course, the Kentucky Derby, we're going to be able to top up these ballot numbers as well. But what you need to do is go to the promo tabs. You'll see the experience, a trip of a lifetime. That's the soccer one. Go to the Cabot one, lock in, and just opt in, and then make your wagers. Your ballots will be tabbed up automatically throughout the summer, and maybe you will be out at Cabot at the greatest courses that our country has to offer. As far as tonight goes, we've been talking about these games. They're all very, very tight lines. Tampa's minus 114, Montreal minus 103. The Sabres are minus 119, Boston's plus 101, and Vegas minus 112, Utah minus 104, and Philly and the Hurricanes playing tomorrow night. Carolina minus 213, Philly plus 178. Series price on that Hurricanes Flyers series, Carolina is a big favorite, minus 357. Philly plus 275. If the magic is over for the Hurricanes, let's see here. Carolina minus 2.5. So Carolina in 5 plus 131. Carolina sweep 4-1. And as I say, if you think Philly can win this series, almost 3-1 plus 275. The other series prices, if you think, I'm just going to go through these. Teams down in Game 6 tonight that could win. Tampa to win Game 6 and 7 and win the series is plus 210. The Bruins to win 6 and 7 is plus 350. And the Utah Mammoth to win both games plus 360. There you have it, gang. That's what's happening in the NHL playoffs. Should mention the Raptors. Big Game 6 tonight. That one's at 6:40. Raptors 2-0 at home. They've been an underdog in every game in the series. They're 4.5-point dogs tonight, plus 158 to win. The Orlando Magic can finish off the 60-win Pistons tonight at home. They are plus 141 to get the win. And my buddy Dusty's Lakers, they are on the road in Houston, plus 140 underdogs to win their series. And Game 7 tomorrow night between the Sixers and the Celtics. Boston, minus 7.5 and minus 278 on the money line. You know what? Yeah, for sure. Let's do that. Now, stay tuned. We've got the marble race coming up. One other thing we need to get in now that we've finished up with the Coolbet lines. Again, use the promo code WST if you haven't played there before. Coolbet.com, 100% bonus up to $200 on your first deposit. And make sure to go into the promotions, into the Cabot contest, and just opt in so your ballots will be accumulated throughout the summer. Remo, I wouldn't mind banging out one more Chud's Power Sports Power Poll with all of the great playoff topics we've got cooking. What do we got today for the Chud's Power Sports Power Poll? Shout out to the Derminator and the great people at Chud's and Gimli. Get down there and make your summer pop.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this yet, but it becomes a topic every playoffs. And last year, a lot of talk about Nate Schmidt being the veteran guy, for the first time to win a cup with Florida. And here's our poll, Huss. Today's power poll. Old guy, you want to win a Stanley Cup. And some of these guys not that old, but they're veteran players who've been around for a while. And who's the guy for each team? Number 5, I got Brendan Gallagher. Been on Montreal for so long. Was there through the rebuild. I mean, it would be nice to see him lift the Stanley Cup. Chris Kreider, longtime Ranger. And now with the Ducks, what a chance to stick him and Trouba winning a cup. Wouldn't that be crazy?
How about Kreider last night? He had been down the lineup. He hadn't scored since March. They move him up to the top line, and it immediately pays dividends. Kreider making an impact. And, both Kreider and Trouba, they were cast aside by the New York Rangers. Something tells me that they're quite happy with the way things have shaken out. Living in Southern California on one of the most exciting young teams in the league and still in the playoffs, as opposed to the New York Rangers who are with us waiting for the lottery on Tuesday.
Yeah, and Jacob Trouba fulfilling his lifelong dream of being a top pair right side defenseman alongside Jackson Lacombe. Number 3, I have Nick Foligno. Hired gun, traded to Minnesota, was on Chicago earlier this year, long time Blue Jacket, brief stint with the Leafs, veteran guy. You'd like to see him win a cup, I guess. Frederik Andersen, I think that's a guy who would prove a lot of people wrong if he would be able to stay healthy and help Carolina win their second Stanley Cup. He's always been good when healthy, but that's been a concern. And, they kind of went with a big rotation with a couple goalies. But he's emerged here as a guy over Bussy and has Carolina in the second round. Number 1, Brent Burns. He's got a huge games played streak. He's got the beard, the look, a long time San Jose
Everyone
Shark.
likes Burns. There's not a lot of people I can't stand that guy. Great personality, great character. And the guy's been playing literally forever on some great teams and has never gotten it done. So Brent Burns and Freddie Andersen at the top of the list of the old guy you want to see win a Stanley Cup power poll for Chud's Power Sports at Chud's up in Gimli. Power up your summer with a trip to Chud's. Check out everything they've got going on right now online at chudspowersports.com. And shout out to the Shout out to the gang at Chuds, who I'm sure are locked in and ready for the marble race coming up in just a bit. But Remo, let's do the Moose tickets before we do marbles. How does that sound?
Sure. I got the names in. So some people entered yesterday. Some people may have entered from the podcast, but we'll give away 2 pairs. We did 2 yesterday. We'll do 2 more today. I have all the names in on the wheel. We're gonna spin them and see who goes. And so it's a voucher that gets you 2 tickets.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you get that up. I mean, basically, you'll get this. It's a little different than us just sending you the seats. You'll log in. You'll choose which game you want. You'll be able to select your seats. And then if, for instance, if you got a family of 5 and you want to bring the whole crew, you'll get the 2 free tickets and just get them in a spot. And you can get the 3 next to them as well. And hey, if you're not lucky enough to win, get out there, support the team, check out these young players. Looking forward to seeing Garrett Brown's first game tomorrow. There is a link in the description of this video today, and we can even throw it in again to get your tickets, a little discounted friends and family rate, courtesy of the Moose and WST. All right, let's spin this a couple times. Again, rules, only one win. So if it spins to the same person twice, we're spinning again. First winner is Derek Honer. Congratulations, Derek. Derek Honer, longtime WST listener. Well done. Check your email. We'll send those over to you right after the show, and you can get on it by picking your seats. All right, winner number 2, Reem. Alan Grimshaw. Congratulations to Alan. Derek and Alan, we will be sending you a code for the 2 free tickets. If you want to get additionals, you'll be able to do that when you're selecting your seats. Enjoy, whether it be game 1 or game 2, whatever your schedule allows. And I'm going to be out of both games, so hopefully we'll see you. We'll see you all then. Remo, you're making the game tomorrow, right?
I'll be there with my son. Yeah, he's very excited. He's getting into hockey, following the playoffs. He doesn't stay up and watch the games, but this Saturday afternoon time, perfect. I got nothing planned except to be at Canada Life Center watching Moose Griffins. I'm pumped.
Love it, love it. Well, I will see you there tomorrow and see Ev, and it should be a lot of fun. So, Alan and Derek, congratulations. Check your email shortly after the program, and we will take care of that, and you can enjoy the games and say hi if you see us at the game. All right, one more thing to do on a Friday afternoon, and as we get to Tristan Rivers music, if you jumped in late, a reminder to all of you, if you're looking for a good time tonight, Tristan and his band, he does a band where they do a full set GNR covers and then a full set AC/DC covers. It's at the Assiniboia Gordon Hotel on Portage Avenue out in sunny St. James. Showtime is 10 p.m. I will be watching the Habs Lightning and the Sabres Bruins, and barring overtime, should be there right around 10 p.m. to enjoy the show. And I know, Remo, you're planning on going too, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a crew together. I told Tristan I'd go, and not only do they play AC/DC and GNR, they do dress up as them. So I know Tristan will be rocking the Slash.
Full tribute band.
Yeah, full tribute band. They're all dressed up. I saw a video of them at the X last year. It looked like I was in 1987 watching Guns N' Roses at the club in LA. So I'm excited to see that tonight and singing along every word to every song, of course.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to make this happen. Hey, I see Fertani in the mix. Todd, this is out in your neck of the woods. Would like to see you tonight. Fire me a text. Maybe you can be on a heater after winning your first ever marble race. It is time for marbles. Speaking of Tristan Rivers music, let's hit the theme and get ready to kick off the weekend on WST.
It's gone by. You deserve to treat yourself. Maybe an ice cream cake or a bottle of rye. For the whole day in, so lavish you can't deny. Why use effort even for pleasure? Give our love a try. It's time to do a marble race. No one's gonna separate and bend to worse. Marble race. Just like marbles with the punctuation first. Marble race. Don't spare or you will suffer unexpected. Marble race. Get to your mark before it's too late. Say go!
All right. The A tonight, 10 p.m. Tristan and his gang. I saw Dr. Terry. What's up to Dr. Terry and the great people at the St. Patel Dental Center? Everything stops for the marble race. I was wondering if brother Damien was in the band. I'm not sure. We will find that out tonight. See if you can put the kids to bed and come out and rock out with us tonight, Doc. Should be a lot of fun. Should be a great crew. All right, Remo, what are we doing for the marbles today?
Okay, I did review a bunch of tracks. I've been testing it out. Let me just load it, actually. This one was called Beautiful Heart Thingamajiggy. And the end, it drops down very quickly into a heart. I'm guessing that's how it got the name.
Perfect. This is dedicated to the birthday boy, T. Will. Happy birthday, T. Will. We heart you, and that's why we have this heart-themed track today for your big day, and we hope to see you tonight.
We do have to give some shout-outs, additional shout-outs as well, as I get this open. As Tico Napoli has been dropping some serious super chats. He wants to see Chris Pronger as GM. What an interview that was. With
Chris Pronger
legend.
was awesome. He was in the mix. I mean, a lot of people had mentioned him as potentially be a guy to take over the Leafs.
Worked in the front office with the Panthers. I mean, he's got front office experience. Worked with the NHL as well. Has been doing a lot of media rounds to promote his book Earned. Tico Napoli with another super chat, Huss. Thank you for the generous Tico Napoli. Congrats to my alumni, Transcona Railers, for snapping the drought and winning the MMJHL. Way to go, Tico.
Railers, nicely done. We had Niverville win the MJ, and now the title is coming back to Transcona. Man, the spike that night, bringing the trophy in. We know they ended up there. Probably hit all the bars in Transcona after winning the championship, finishing it up right up until 2:30 a.m. at the spike. I also want to shout out Big Maple, who is a great supporter and a great sensei when it comes to. There's the Transcona Railers. Nicely done, fellas. Super chat. He's always got good picks. If you're wondering who to go with for the for your UFC, and it's obviously overseas. It starts at 2 a.m. Winnipeg time tonight. McAuliffe money line, Salclid money line, and Taffa Christian under 1.5 rounds at 1.73. Love it. I will ride Big Maple MMA. Thanks for jumping on the show as always. Man, UFC was fun a couple weeks ago. Or was that last week?
It's a couple
that
weeks
was 2
ago.
weeks ago. That was 2 weeks ago now.
What a time that was. I showed everyone my seats for that, where I was, you could see me behind Mike Malott in the main event. I was front row. Thank you to the UFC for the press pass, the credentials, doing work, Huss. I think this fight's in Australia.
Man of the people, I'm not scamming everyone trying to get press passes. I am buying tickets, supporting the events, and we did that. We supported it with tickets. We may have supported it with some beer sales as well. Unbelievable event. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be up at 2 a.m. to watch this, but I will ride with Big Maple on those picks for an event. All right, let's do the T Will Invitational, the marble race today. You know what, Remo, if you can, put me in all caps And I think that because of the playoffs tomorrow, I think we should also put the Gus Bus, Dom DiVincentis, and Tyrell Bauer. I think they should all get a marble for their appearances on WST this week.
Sure. And I put them in. I put them in all capitals. Gus Bus, Dom DiVincentis. I actually made a mistake yesterday. He spelled his first name wrong. Too focused on the last name. I just put Dom in. Tyrell Bauer. What a great week of Moose guests that was. Shout out to Daniel Fink.
Yeah, shout out to the Finker. He'll have the calls tomorrow, 2 p.m. for both Saturday and Sunday, games 1 and 2. All right, let's make this happen. I've got this great Friday feeling. I'm looking outside. It's nice, a little warmer than it's been. The weekend's going to be, it looks like, pretty nice. We got 2 games early, 6 and 6:30. Can't wait to see what happens. I'm not that invested in the Montreal-Tampa series, but I can't take my eyes away on it. And I'm very invested in the Buffalo Sabres. Got to get this win tonight in Boston. Shout out to the Blade Gang. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I got Buffalo tonight. I'm in a pool. I took Buffalo, and
we got Buffalo.
I'm hoping for them. No one. They went pretty late in my pool, so I did take McDavid though, second overall. Which
man,
yeah.
My draft is such a disaster. 12 guys, 5 on Pittsburgh, 4 on Edmonton.
Oh.
I am now riding with Quinn Hughes, Joel Eriksson Ek, and Jason Zucker. And that is it. All right, here it is. It's the beautiful heart thingamajig dedicated to the birthday boy T. Will. We've got 216 marbles in the hopper. Good luck to all of you. Hopefully we'll see some of you tonight at the A. Let's get it going and start the weekend with the marble race on Winnipeg Sports Talk. Here we go. Who's coming out first? From the Plinko Star. Earl James, Alan Clayton, T. Will, MB hockey expert. This would be incredible if he won. What a moment that would be. Sean the Commodore, and there's the birthday boy himself, T. Will. He is right in the mix. Rick Buck, though, with a great transition. Rick's in first, ahead of Rod Zawacki. That's Rod Z of EST fame. What's up, Rod? Rick Buck right now. Frosty Winnipeg right behind him. And we've got a bit... Oh, no. They made it through here. Rod Z and Frosty, Gary Labossiere, Daryl M. Looking good right now. Rod Z. Rod would be a victory for Rod. Would be a victory for Edmonton Sports Talk. We've said, when will there be an EST winner? We have not seen one yet. But we have lots of entries from ESTers every Friday. Could Rod Z be the one to break the EST drought in the WST marble race? Rod's still in first, just ahead of Gary Labossiere. Frosty Winnipeg is pushing. We've also got Daryl M. Mark Amph. What up, Mark? Got to meet Mark. Mark was our big winner in the Coolbet contest for the UFC tickets. Gary and Rod, 1-2 right now. Gary's got a bit of a lead. And now we're going into a big funnel. Murray Sisler up there in the top. Oh, Cam Thang, the Wild Thang, has popped into the top 10 as well. Let's see who's getting out first. Lazy Acres Farm, Cam Thang, and Herb.
It's a Herbster.
The Herbster. Herbster's had some very good races in the past. Oh, Johnny Wind City Bender just got top roped. Herb has the lead right now, a little bit ahead of Lazy Acres. Mark Amp is right behind, but right now, the Herbster in first with a little bit of a lead. It looks like this is going to be Herb's. Herb is going into the T. Will Memorial Heart, and Herbster is our victor today. Lazy Acres Farm. The Wild SMA. Arlowen, number 4. Good one, Russ. Murray Sisler. Schickster. Phyllis.
Wow.
Like, so many of the regulars in there. Steiner, 25. Frosty, Winnipeg. And Thor from 204. Rounding out our top 10 today on the WST Marble Race. There's a Canuck won a couple weeks ago. There's our guy Donnie Boy. There's Bozeman. Bozeman winning late. I still have not seen myself, so all caps Kyle. There's all caps Kyle. All right, there's the Herbster. Nicely done. Here we go. So we went through the top 10. Earl James. There's Ryan Dry. Gus Bus. Nicely done. Gus Bus has been dominating in the draws. Very nice performance in the race as well today. There's Cruiser 24. Amy Wiebe. Duck Dad. Not bad. Tyson 204. Tyson, you need to get your butt to St. James tonight too, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you there. Grab, there's Hustler. That's a win for me in our head-to-head. 50th, not bad. Not bad today. There's Mary Jane. What's up, Mary Jane? MC Stormy. There's the doc, Dr. Terry. St. Patel Dental Center, 70th, not bad. Dom DiVincentis comes in at 72. Todd Fertani. Nicely done, Todd. Top 100 at least. D. McCallick. Wow, T-Will, MB Hockey Expert, the birthday boy, had a great start, not a great finish. He was 98th. Continuing the round on the other side of 100. There's everyone that went through. There's Bozeman, 107 or 007. And then there's the list of everyone that did not make it to the end. Tyrell Bauer taken out by the fire, potentially a mishap. No mishaps for the big guy coming up tomorrow at 2 p.m. Canada Life Center. Again, if you want to pick up tickets for the game, if you just click on the description of today's episode, you'll see the first thing right there, Moose ticket offer. Got a friends and family deal, which will save you a few bucks on tickets. That is good for both Saturday and Sunday's game. So if you're thinking later on the weekend, man, I want to get some tickets, just head over to the YouTube, click on the link, and make that happen. Man, fun show today to start off the first, the new month of May, Remo, and heading into a big weekend for the Moose, the Stanley Cup Playoffs, Raptor fans as well. It's all happening.
Yeah, and all the Winnipeg summer sports starting up as well. And we had the CFL draft, a lot of conversation about that. We didn't have any outrage today about the new playoff format, but the Bombers training camp starting soon. There is Flag Football Team Canada this weekend, tomorrow at Princess Auto Stadium. Check that out.
Do the doubleheader. Go early. Go in the morning spot, I think around 10:30. Check out Lapo's squad, and then head down to the rink for 2 p.m. for the Moose and the Grand Rapids Griffins. And then we do have a hockey game tomorrow night. I didn't think we did. I thought it would be dark. No. The Flyers and Hurricanes, game 1 tomorrow night. And then I don't really even care about the I want Buffalo to win. I don't know if my nerves can handle a game 7, but I would like us to have at least one game 7, if not 2 on Sunday. And then obviously for us to talk about on Monday's show.
Yeah, and the other thing starting up, we're going to have to get into Seabears. Training camp got underway. Joey Slattery's got some good reports on his Instagram. I shared it on the Winnipeg Sports Talk story, so check that out. Gold Eyes, you mentioned, starting up. And NHL offseason, I mean, GM searches, we have a big contract extension right now. Dylan Holloway signing a 5-year extension 8 minutes ago, reported by Chris Johnson with the Blues, $7.75 million. AAV. So the hockey offseason as well as the playoffs in full swing.
Congratulations to the former Oiler
on the day after the
new contract
get eliminated.
Oh my God, that's funny stuff. Hey, don't forget Royal Sports tent sale. You want to get ready for summer? New kicks, athletic wear, cleats for soccer, baseball, football. It's all out there. 50% off. They open at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Get down there for the best pick of the litter for one of the biggest sales of the year. That is going to do it for us. Great to have the Gold Eyes and Assiniboia Downs, and welcome again to Travel Manitoba. Really looking forward to what we're going to cook up with Michael and the gang over the next number of months. A huge thanks to all the sponsors that make WST happen each and every day. And we will look forward to seeing all of you on Monday. Don't forget, 9 a.m. on Sunday will be WST Sunday Live. Connor and Liz will have reaction from Game 1 of the Moose Griffins series, a setup for Game 2, Stanley Cup Playoffs, and much, much more. So don't miss that. And otherwise, we will look forward to talking with you next Monday, 1 o'clock, live on YouTube, as we kick off another week and really get going into May on Winnipeg Sports Talk. For Michael Remis, I'm Andrew Paterson. Have a great weekend. See you next week on WST.
Oh my God! Oh! Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for tuning in to Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast feed at winnipegsportstalk.com.